I'd like to open the July 18th meeting of the Planning Board. It is now 7:01 p.m. And present at the meeting, please acknowledge your presence, board members, when I call upon you. Cindy Markowitz.
Markowitz here.
Rebecca Werner.
Bernard here.
And let's see who else we've got. Kathleen Vorse.
Vorse here.
Mark White.
White present.
And is Janet here? Anybody see Janet?
Yes, she's here.
Oh, and Janet.
Hi, Janet Connolly is here.
Hi. Okay. So, let's try and find the agenda. Let's see here. I'm not really prepared. I'm sorry.
Public comment.
Public comments first? Okay. So I would like to open up the meeting for public comments from the audience. If anyone has a comment that they would like to make, now's the time to do it. Please raise your hand so we can recognize you. I see Sue Schmidt. Can we unmute Stephen Schmidt's the name on it, but it's Sue.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I'm attending. Basically, I saw the announcement that there is special permit and site plan approval for an R&D facility for Office Park District on Adams Road tonight.
So there is, but if you're going to comment on the hearing, I'm going to hold that comment until the hearing starts, okay?
Already.
What I should have explained was that we usually just do, if you have other comments about other planning board items that are not listed on the agenda, then you can make them now. But if not, please hold that comment and we'll get to it during the hearing.
Thank you.
Anything else you wanted to ask about other than the hearing?
No, that was it.
Okay. All right. We'll hold off on it then. I'm going to try and pull up the agenda real fast. Sorry about that.
Public hearing, Mark.
That's the next one? Okay.
Yeah, you need to wait till 7:05. You're a minute or two early.
Well, that's good. That'll give me time to pull you. So.
Posted for 7.
No, it's posted for 7:05. Oh, it was. I thought I saw it 7:05.
Yeah, the legal posting is 7:05. The agenda has it as 7.
Well, we can always wait till after 7:05. So that'll give me exactly the time that I need. To pull up the agenda myself. Isn't life grand that I can sit in my house and not have to see all of you personally?
Yes, it is, Mark.
That's soon coming to an end, isn't it?
No, it's been extended to, I believe it's been to May of 2013. So we still have some time. And I bet they're going to make it permanent eventually. It's just too darn convenient.
Why, Kathy, would you rather be all in town hall right now?
No.
Nor me.
Well, some people insist on it.
Yeah. I think it's more accessible this way.
I agree.
So let's see, 7:05 just clicked.
Okay.
Mark, do you want me to share my screen? I have the public hearing notice up.
No, that's fine. I've got it. Thank you. I was actually trying to find the agenda all this time, but I do have the now it's going to make a liar out of me.
Kathy, were you able to get access to all the documents through the
Did,
document?
yes.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Tracy, the Dropbox works great. The only problem is the documents aren't, some of them, a lot of them aren't, they're not really Word documents or editable. So they've not been translated into text. So when you do the word conversions, you got to translate them, try and translate them into text readable. That way we can select things. Some things are and some aren't.
OCR.
I'll talk to you about that offline.
Okay.
All right, it is now 7:06, and the planning board, in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Boxborough zoning bylaws, Section 6105, special permit, private common driveways in the Office Park District, Section 8000, site plan approval, and Section 9200, special permits and site plan approval rules and regulations. The Boxborough Planning Board will conduct a public hearing on Monday, July 18th, 2022 at 7:05 p.m. to review the application submitted by Boxborough Adams Realty Trust to construct a 140,000 square foot office research and development light manufacturing facility. The subject property is located in the Office Park District at 244 Adams Road and is identified as Assessor's Parcel 12250. Based on current COVID-19 circumstances, this public hearing will be held via Zoom video conferencing. All details will be made available on the planning board agenda when posted a minimum of 48 hours prior to the meeting on the town website, www.boxborough-ma.gov. Plans may be reviewed at the planning office at 29 Middle Road during regular business hours. And so with that, I think I saw Israel on the call. And can we unmute Israel so he can begin the presentation for his team? Hi, Israel.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So just for the record, I'm Israel Lopez with the Gutierrez Company, and it's good to see everyone again, although not in person. On behalf of the applicant, Boxborough Adams Realty Trust, and the Gutierrez Company, I'm happy to be back in front of the board to present our request this evening for a site plan approval and related special permit approval for our proposed 140,000 square foot GMP light manufacturing and office facility, which we propose to develop at the 244 Adams Place parcel, which is adjacent to the Regency Hotel. We believe that this project will meet the demand for the region's biotech and life science industry, and that the project will bring great economic opportunities and growth to Boxborough, to the Regency Hotel, and we think it's going to be a great project for the town. Moreover, we also believe that the requirements, just in terms of some of the resource requirements for water and sewer, are fairly minimal, and the impact overall on traffic in the area, we think, will also be quite small. We did receive a peer review letter from the town's peer review engineer, and we'd like to begin to discuss some of the questions in that letter. But before doing that, I thought it would make sense just to touch briefly on some of the relevant projects that we've done of this type. I know that this is a large project for the town, and I think one of the things that our company brings is a ton of experience in building not only these types of facilities, but permitting and working with the town. So if I could just share my screen, I don't know if I need to request additional permission for that or not.
Yeah, you need additional permission, but please do so as soon as Dave can make that happen.
Okay, so. Let's see.
You should be all set.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, so. All right. You should be able to see a slide there with just some of the projects that are no.
Not
Let me try
yet.
that again. Is that, can you see that now or no?
Nope.
Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. Let's see.
You're good. It's up. There we go.
Is it?
Yeah. Now we got a mountain.
Moonscape.
Oh. Sorry about that.
You had it before.
I had it before. Let me try it. Let me try it again. My apologies. Let's try this again. The problem with multiple screens. Here we go. Here we go. And large PDF files. All right. All right, now let me try this again.
That's it.
Good? Okay. All right, so we've developed and constructed about a little over a million 2 square feet in the last 5 years or so. And these are some of the projects that we've developed. So this project, the first project on the list here is for Merck Millipore. That was a 350,000 square foot lab and office building. About 180,000 square feet of that was lab space, and the balance of it was a mix of office and light R&D space. The second project on the list is Olympus Corporation of America. Many folks are familiar with Olympus as the camera company, but Olympus also does a fair amount of medical device, optical equipment, and we just finished the facility for them about a year ago, which was, again, a mix of lab space and office space. There's some other office to lab conversions on here. A couple of projects that I think are noteworthy are the project we just finished for Ultragenics in Bedford. This was 112,000 square foot, 2-story light manufacturing facility for Ultragenics. They manufacture a number of cancer-related drugs. And then 172 Middlesex Turnpike and 149 Hayes Memorial Drive are both 140,000 square foot projects, 2-story projects with very similar characteristics to the project that we're proposing at 244 Adams. And in particular, the project in Marlborough, the site there was very similar in terms of topography and access. And so one of the benefits of that project for this project is the way that we were able to manage construction on that site and deal with a number of the same kinds of challenges and issues that we'll be working with at the 244 Adams project. In particular, and this is something that we're happy to talk more about, we realigned a section of the Marlborough sewer line, which was a 24-inch vitreous clay pipe that serves the entire city of Marlborough. That line went through a portion of our site, and we had to relocate that line for the construction process. This the project at 244 Adams is much simpler, but it does include a portion of sewer main that also needs to be relocated. So I just pointed that out just to share some of the relevant experience. With that, what I'd like to do is turn it over to Carlton Quinn with Allen and Major Associates to provide a high-level overview of the site. And then our goal this evening is to begin to address some of the site and construction-related questions that we received from Sue Carter at Places Associates. And for that, we have our site contractor who's available and can speak to a lot of the constructability related questions that were part of that review. We did receive that peer review letter late Thursday afternoon, and it's quite detailed, and I don't think that we'll be able to get to all of the questions in that letter this evening. So we'd really like an opportunity to go back and address some of those questions in more detail and provide a more comprehensive response. But that was our goal this evening, and I guess maybe I'll pause there and ask the chair if that outline seems appropriate.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so with that, I'll turn it over to Carlton Quinn at Allen and Major, and I'll stop sharing my screen. Or Carlton, if you'd like, I can present the site plan or anything that you'd like me to put up for you.
That's okay. I think I can share it, Israel, if my computer doesn't blow up here.
Okay.
Can everyone see that?
Yep.
Good evening. My name is Carlton Quinn. I'm a civil engineer with Allen and Major Associates, here representing the Gutierrez Company. Allen Major provide the civil site design and drainage calculations for this project for you. In front of you is kind of a color rendering of the site. Just quickly going through it, I'm going to kind of pop over to a black and white that kind of shows the full site here, and maybe pop back to the color plan. So the site, it's a 32.5 acres abutting Route 495 with frontage along Adams Place, just to the south of the existing hotel here. The site is predominantly wooded and slopes from the east down to the west fairly significantly. In the northwest corner here, you're going to see a little finger. That red line is the property. This area over here contains some BVW associated with an intermittent stream and a bank of a pond in this location. This area here is basically the only jurisdictional wetlands we have on the site. So there's no other WPA jurisdictional wetlands on the property other than this area kind of down here. And the 100-foot buffer is kind of outlined there in the black. There's no FEMA floodplain, riverfront, habitat, or any of the other resources on site, as I noted. There is 2 zone 1s associated with an existing domestic well for the hotel, and then our proposed domestic water system back here in the rear. Both those ones obviously have associated zone or IWPAs with them, and the site's kind of bisected right down here with the zone 2 aquifer protection zone for the public water supply in town. The site design has been basically put in here based on those existing site constraints, and the location you see here has been, vetted through months of conceptual work and design. So most of the items were identified early on, and the site design has been designed to reflect that. The yellow blob you see here in the middle, that's our 140,000 square foot building with 290 associated parking spots. You can see Adams Place is used for vehicular access. We provided 360-degree access around the site. The 360-degree access meets the NFPA 1 Section 18 Fire Department access requirements for all dimensional and slopes and turning radiuses. We've also provided a swept path analysis in our package show the fire truck making the turning movements within the site. The site will be served by an on-site septic system and a domestic well, as I noted earlier, as well as public gas and public electric. The site fire protection will be provided by a 10,000-gallon cistern and a fire pump with the required generator backup systems. All the site lighting will be dark sky compliant with no off-site spillage. And then the proposed stormwater system will meet and exceed all 10 of the Mass DEP stormwater standards. Some of the systems on site include a typical deep sump catch basin with an oil hood. We have hydrodynamic separators. We have both surface and subsurface infiltration systems, as well as subsurface and surface detention systems. We've also provided, typical construction details, as well as a standard stormwater operation and maintenance plan. Just to give you, that's kind of a brief overview. We've provided dimensional analysis, which meets all the town's standard dimensional requirements for setbacks, coverage, FAR, and all the items from the dimensional table requirements. So that's kind of a brief overview of the site design. I can flip through some specific items if you want, or we can kind of continue the presentation with the contractor to go through some of the construction sequencing that was noted as an issue of concern early on.
Does the board want to ask any questions now, or would you like to wait until the full presentation is complete and maybe we even let the audience make some comments? Just throwing it out there to the board.
Mark, can I just ask one question? I believe I sat in on the pre-development review discussion, and there was mention of an isolated wetland. Carlton, you didn't mention that. I believe you're in front of the Conservation Commission this week for a request for determination of applicability, but could you just identify for the board where that isolated wetland is, please?
Yeah, no, I can certainly do that. There was a pocket of wetlands flagged early on by the wetland scientists that flagged this, but it's too small to be jurisdictional under the Wetland Protection Act. And even as I zoom in on it, it's going to be hard to see because it's only a few hundred square feet. And it's this pocket here, kind of trapped on the side of the hill.
Yeah, and I can provide additional follow-up on that as well. We did go in front of the Conservation Commission. We submitted a request for determination of applicability. The initial hearing was held a couple of weeks ago, and the town engaged a peer reviewer to walk the entire site, including this area, this IBW area here, as well as the other wetland area that Carlton pointed out on the site plan previously. My understanding from the walkthrough, which I believe was yesterday or on Friday, I'm sorry, I believe it was on Friday of last week, is that the town's peer reviewing wetland scientists confirmed all of the flag locations with a couple of very minor shifts, but they also concluded that that area, that small IBW, was non-jurisdictional. That's my understanding of the walkthrough with the town's peer reviewer. Well,
I'd like to just let them get through their presentation. If you guys can write down your questions, if that's okay with the board.
Great.
Okay.
That's fine.
We'll do that. So just finish your presentation up, and then if we have some questions,
okay.
We'll ask them.
So, Israel, were you going to hand it over to Adam?
Yeah, Carlton, thank you. I wasn't sure if you were going to speak to anything else, but So Andrew Cermick from JR Vinagro Construction is on our team. Andrew was the site supervisor in charge of site construction for a project that's currently under construction in Marlborough. It's also a 140,000 square feet facility, again, with very similar site characteristics. There's a fair amount of topography. It was a previously undeveloped wooded site. It involved the relocation of a segment of sewer bypass or sewer line for the town, which Andrew and his team relocated without any incident, and it was accepted by the town or by the city of Marlborough. That project involved constructing around a wetland. So unlike this project where we're not working within the 100-foot buffer, in that project, there was a fair amount of work within the 100-foot buffer. And so I wanted to give Andrew an opportunity to talk about the project sequencing. This is typically something that's addressed and discussed at the end of a project where things are more kind of well-defined and established, but recognizing the importance of this topic for the planning board, we wanted to bring Andrew on early in this process and provide at least the conceptual overview of how we would tackle the construction phasing for the site. Andrew has been out, I should say, at the property numerous times, working on some of the initial engineering and geotechnical exploratory work and work related to the well that's being developed on the site. So he's very familiar with the site, with the Boxborough Regency Hotel, and really with all of the characteristics of the site. So with that, Andrew, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Israel, and thank you to the board for inviting us to talk. Can I share my screen? Do I have the ability to do that?
Yep, Dave will help you out with that.
Okay.
He's on his way.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, Andrew, you should be able to share.
Okay, can you see the drawing on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so just to take a step back and touch on some of the points that Israel made. Our company is JR Vinagro. We do land clearing, crushing, demolition, and site work. Our main operating area is the central Massachusetts region. We're familiar with the area. Myself personally, I've been doing projects with Gutierrez now for several years. We've tackled some pretty big ones together, life science, industrial buildings. I will say Gutierrez on their construction side has a very strong understanding of stormwater control. They're much more site oriented than some of the contractors out there, which makes for a good team for us. I'd like to walk through the phasing of how we see this job going, and if anyone's interested, we have some photos of other work that we've done on similar sites, just to kind of paint the picture of how we look at these. Although each job's different, we look at them all. There's a couple major points on all of these that we have to hit. Biggest one is stormwater control and controlling public nuisance. This site is extremely challenging because of it being on a hill, but it's not abnormal for the types of jobs that we're doing. We've found in the areas, as they say, the good land was bought up or already developed. This is the new normal, and we're very comfortable with them. This is pretty much this is our wheelhouse, these types of jobs. So on the screen, this is the downhill side of the job. This is where the existing leach field is for the hotel. This is the uphill side of the job. In order to flatten the site out, this soil up here on the high side, soil and ledge, is going to get cut, and it's going to be placed as fills down here. There's going to be a pre-split retaining wall here. And this high side will be taken down through here. So the way this job starts is we build the access road coming in, we get ourselves access, clean access. We set up erosion control, water control, ponds down here. We gain ourselves access to do the sewer reroute work. While that's happening, trees are being cut up in here. And we leave the stumps in areas until we absolutely need to pull the stumps. The stumps help keep the site filtered and held together. Once we get the bottom protected, sewer work is done. We start advancing in here, stumping, stripping topsoil. We come into this area and we start taking the soil out of the cut and placing it in the fill at the low end. And that is where we getting in from the phase where we're just working in at the bottom to where we're cutting material here and filling it here is where we gain control of the site. We can start using our fills to control stormwater and how the site flows. And we continue to build up the low side. After we strip the overburden off, there is ledge here. We will set up right in here, right at the cut fill line, and start blasting, and the blast will advance in here. And as we're generating the material, that also gets cut and filled. That material will be used to make select products such as gravel, stone, sand. And then we basically work our way right across the job here. We jump on utilities as soon as possible. It's good to start to get the stuff in the ground as we have control of the site. So similar job. Does anyone have any questions about the phasing that I just went through on this? So I'd like to show.
Can I just ask, was there a timeline associated with that construction phasing?
So typically a site like this is 12 to 18 months, but that ultimately comes down to how Gutierrez wants to approach the job. But to get the site ready for the building is usually about a half a year, and then we fall in and work around the building work. So very, very similar job. This was also a Gutierrez job that we did. Similar thing, one access road in and out. This is a big hill. And this is just some kind of quick phasing on how we got in, controlled the water. You can see ponds here. We have ponds down here. Working the site on the high side, filling the low side. And that's as the building starts coming up. There's the building up. And then this is the access road paved coming in. So this job is very similar.
I have a question.
Yep.
How many acres in total are you going to clear forested acres?
So for construction, we are going to clear. One second, let me get back to that. So the actual clearing that we'll do is we'll cut the trees in the area, and then we can control the site by leaving stumps. So there, I don't have a set acreage of how much we would do at a time, other than I can say that the stumping will be done in basic quadrants as needed, is how we would see that.
Again, my question is, how many total forested acres are you going to clear?
Carlton, could I kick that one over to you?
Sure. I don't have the exact number, but it's probably somewhere between 15 and 18 acres.
And how many acres of blasted ledge are you gonna, I mean, that from those blast lines, what are we talking about there in terms of cubic feet?
I mean, if you, to guess, it's about half. I don't have the blasted square footage area. Is that, or did you want the volume?
Cubic, yeah, volume, cubic foot. You guys must
I'd
have
have to look that
estimated that because you're gonna have to deal with so many cubic feet.
We don't have that calculation yet, and that's not something that is all that common or typical to provide for site plan approval. But we can certainly do that calculation and, working with Andrew, provide an estimate for that.
Yeah, we're gonna need that. We're gonna need to know where you're gonna be processing the rock, how you're gonna be blasting it. Will the fill equal the cut, or will you be shipping materials off site? We'll need all of that at some point.
Okay. I think the number, just given the amount of impervious area, is probably closer to between 5 to 6 acres, Carlton, but we can provide clarification on that.
I think he was asking how many square footage of trees would we be cutting down, not impervious.
Well, no, it was two questions. How many acres of trees are gonna be cleared? And how many cubic feet of blasted material do you anticipate? I mean, those are two numbers that you should probably have somewhere in your estimates because you have to account for that along the way in your dollar estimates for your client, so.
Yep. Andrew,
You don't have to have it tonight. This isn't gonna be the end of your.
Yeah,
right.
no.
No, I was just understood. Andrew, are you done with your piece of it? I think.
Yeah, so a couple other things I just wanted to touch on as far as the approach to these projects. You know, I know it's a sensitive area with the hotel. As far as dust control goes, dust we don't anticipate being a major issue here. We're gonna water the site as needed. The blasting itself will not create large plumes of dust. And if we have to, we can wet the blasting mats down, but that usually does not become a major issue. As far as noise goes, I know these areas are sensitive to noise. This area being higher on the job, once we start to take this down, becomes a natural sound barrier, and the sound's going to want to go this way. It's going to want to, wants to go up and out, and that's the way it's going to go towards the highway. Blasting itself is extremely controlled. We team up with Main Drilling and Blasting, who is the best blaster in the area by far, both safety record, customer service, their dealings with the cities and towns. This is not a uncontrolled Wild West type thing. They're very controlled. They're highly regulated. Any properties within the state jurisdiction, we blast surveys. There's laws that require whose places have to be surveyed ahead of time. There's laws about how blasts are monitored. It's very scientific. We just completed last year. We did 800,000 cubic yards of ledge in a neighborhood that we were very successful with Main Drilling and Blasting. The blasting is not. The blasting, we do not anticipate issues. Someone asked a question about processing rock. We will be processing rock on site for gravel, stone, sand. That is also a very controlled process. It'll be mobile crushers on tracks. They're we'll downsize the rock with hammers. The blasting is going to do most of the downsizing, but there will be slight downsizing with hammers, and we feed it into crushing plants with excavators. Again, it's relatively controlled. With the site having being tucked away here, it's going to help baffle the sound. So those are my high points, and if there's any specific questions on how we would approach this one, I'd be happy to answer.
So when you come back next time, if it's not part of the sequencing plan right now, we're going to need to know how long you're going to be hammering and blasting and processing rock, because the hotel is going to be directly impacted by all of that sound. So, give us a tight plan, a estimated plan for those kind of timelines.
Yeah.
Yes, we can certainly do that. Also, with respect to the timing, I know there was a request for, a construction timeline, which we provided at a very high level. A lot of it has to do with the time of year that construction begins. We've got a lot of experience with New England soils, and it's important to begin these projects at the right time of year so that you let the soils dry out. And otherwise they can become very difficult to work with. And so the part of the timing question and sequencing has to do with beginning construction at the right time of year, which is generally in the late spring time frame, where you can start getting into the site. And then by the time that you're actually really into the soils and stripping, it's warmer, and the soils can dry out and are more workable. So we're happy to provide more detail for the timing of that. We do have a good relationship with the Regency Hotel. As the board is probably aware, there's an easement that's in place that we've provided, which outlines the access into the site, and we've had a very good working relationship with the hotel. I think it's safe to say that the prospect of having this type of facility next door to that hotel, both in terms of the workers that are there, but also partners flying in from other parts of the country. Most of these facilities have scientists and workers that are in the local market, but many of these companies are national companies and attract a lot of traffic from other parts of the country. So I think the hotel is rooting for this project, quite strongly, and I'm sure that we'll be able to work with them through the time frame that we're constructing the project. But ultimately, they believe, as we believe, that it should be a great benefit for their business.
I had a question. Looking at the paperwork, on some paperwork, it refers to the site as being 32 and some fraction acres. And on the cover sheet of the private common drive special permit, it refers to it as 18.2 acres. And the special permit application for the common drive refers to it as 242 Adams Place. And the rest of the paperwork seems to refer to as 244 Adams Place. So if I could just get unconfused.
Yeah, I apologize if there's a typo in the materials. The address is 244 Adams Place. The Regency Hotel is 242 Adams Place, and the site is 32 acres. I believe it's 1.4 million and change square feet. We'll be sure to correct that.
Well, it just may be that your common driveway permit, initiates through the Regency at 242 Adams Place?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, it just may be that your common driveway permit, initiates through the Regency at 242 Adams Place? That's correct.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the area for the driveway is part of a 50-foot wide easement that bisects the leach field for the, or at least the edge of the leach field. It doesn't go over the leach field. The leach field is adjacent to where that proposed access drive is.
Thank you.
Is that the end of the presentation, Israel?
It is.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. So I'd like some input from the board. Would they prefer to have the citizens make comments right now, or would they like to ask their questions?
It may make sense to have the citizens provide their general comments. I mean, I have a lot of very detailed questions and comments, so it may be helpful to let the citizens speak first from my perspective.
I prefer that. Is there any, without any objection to that, then I'm going to do that. Anyone who would like to make some comments or have any questions or seek some information, please raise your hand or use a raise hand feature. I see Sue Schmidt's hand up. Go ahead. Please unmute. It says Stephen Schmidt, but it's really Sue.
Thank you. I live at 962 Depot Road here in Boxborough. And I have some concerns, mainly, I guess, to address to the planning board over the project. And a question too. This is an R&D facility and office, is that correct? That's being planned? It includes research and development in biotech. And since our bylaw allows work of that sort at bio-level 2, is that correct?
Our bylaw allows biosafety level 2 life science in this district.
Okay. Well, my concerns are about that kind of work at biosafety level 2 laboratories. Generally, there's one overriding concern I have, that the biotech, life science businesses and laboratories will be working with level 2 substances, but can at times receive substances that are improperly or incompletely inactivated from level 4 and level 3 laboratories. By improperly inactivated, that means they haven't been treated correctly. It's a human error. They haven't been, an inactivation process will render the sample from a 3 or 4 level laboratory more workable at level 2. So some of the parts of those substances are killed off and they're more easily handled at level 2. So these things have happened. They're documented. A notable one was in 2012 when a government laboratory sent out 200 samples of live anthrax, thinking they had been properly inactivated and rendered relatively harmless, and yet they weren't. They were live. Another example was in China in 2004, and 2 researchers who were working with improperly inactivated SARS were exposed to SARS virus and took it outside the lab, infecting other people with the result of 1 death. According to the Government Accounting Office, these things happen. It's noted in late 2010 that there were several instances, 3 or 4 instances of Ebola and Marburg viruses that had been improperly inactivated these are level 4 substances, and they were sent to lower level labs, including level 2, bio level 2. And fortunately, no one was made sick. But the presence of those kinds of substances sitting in a laboratory here in Boxborough really scares me, in that a release, maybe malfunctioning high vac, or a worker carrying something out on their clothing, could cause an infection and be a threat to public health here in Boxborough and be carried elsewhere. So I'm addressing these things to the planning board. I know we have a biosafety committee here, and I feel that no biosafety committee can prevent human error, and improper inactivation is a human error. So we may feel comforted and maybe perhaps complacent that we have the protection of a biosafety committee, and yet that will not work to prevent human error. So I feel that even though these are level 2 laboratories and businesses that we're talking about here, that there has to be a certain degree of caution and wariness about their presence here in Boxborough. I remember sitting in on a EDC meeting in 2019 where Dr. John Mullins, who was the spokesperson for the UMass study here in Boxborough, stated his preliminary remarks was, Boxborough does not need this kind of development. Boxborough has good tax revenue income. Boxborough, compared to other Massachusetts towns and municipalities, compares quite favorably in their financial status and standing. So I feel the risks that are posed by the presence of R&D at a level 2 is too risky for a town that doesn't need an economic payback from something like this, when we can attract businesses that are not this problematic
Sue?
or expensive. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you short, but that was quite a bit of information that you imparted. And I would like to just let everyone know that the planning board has received an email containing a variety of articles about leaks and transmissions that have occurred at Biosafety 2 laboratories. I've got the email, and we will give it to the planner and anyone who wants to take a look at some of these. And they're from reputable news sources, not just, these aren't just the National Enquirer news. This is the Guardian and other newspapers. So with that in mind, I'd like to let somebody else weigh in. So thank you for your comments.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak or make a comment or has a question? Yeah, Mr. Kamoli, could we unmute Jim Kamoli? Thank you.
Hi, Jim Kamoli, Sergeant Road. I might have missed it, but I was mentioned that these are going to be R&D labs, but GMP was mentioned in the beginning. So this is something that's not being built for a particular sponsor right now, but it's something which is going to be flexible, and you're looking for various laboratories or commercial entities to fill it. And then what kind of representation is there along that development scale? And then how many, if that's the case, how many of these companies might be able to be housed there?
Israel, can you take that?
Sure. So there is, I think, as we've noted in the materials that we've submitted, there is no tenant or user that's been identified as of yet for the facility. And so it generally these facilities are single user type facilities, or possibly 2. So if I had to guess, there would be more than likely a single user and possibly 2. I think it would be unlikely that there would be more than 2 users for the facility. And so the basis of design that we've provided for the facility is in line with what these facilities, R&D facilities, look like, and the proportion of the space that we've allocated for manufacturing versus office and R&D space is commensurate with, you know, what we've seen in the market with other similar facilities.
Any other questions, Jim?
No, I think that's it. I just, you know, I just imagine laboratory space having a different demand, being smaller compartments, benches, hoods, etc., and then manufacturing space being more open, where you need larger types of facilities. So is that going to be something which you leave flexible until you find a tenant?
Yeah, I think that's generally accurate. There's 85,000 square feet of high bay open area manufacturing space that's proposed here, and 55,000 square feet of non-high bay, more office type space.
Okay, thanks.
Are there anyone else in the audience who'd like to ask a question or make a comment? Please
Mark,
raise your hand.
can I just clarify on the space issue? I think there's 3 potential uses. It's office, R&D, and light manufacturing, right? And so I think proposal could be any combination of those, I believe. Is that correct, Israel?
I think it's generally correct. You know, all of these buildings obviously require some level, even in an industrial building that's, you know, of what someone would term a pure warehouse building, for example, there's always a small office component to it. So not unlike that, this facility will have some traditional office space that's related to the manufacturing activity. But generally, this type of building would be referred to as a light manufacturing facility, given the high bay component of it and the larger than traditional floor to ceiling heights. So within the 2-story area, the clear height for that space is 18 feet. That clear height allows for all of the HVAC and mechanical equipment that goes along with lab and R&D activity. And then the high bay component is intended to accommodate all of the more manufacturing oriented activity.
Okay, thank you. And again, just a reminder, our uses that are allowed in the Office Park District include light manufacturing, R&D, and office, but not wholesale, and I'm sorry, not warehouse and not manufacturing as defined in our bylaw.
So, are there any other questions from anyone in the audience? Hearing none. Places had a fairly lengthy review, about 10 pages worth of information. I don't know, I think maybe we should, I don't know if we have to go over every element in that, but it might be useful to have Sue Carter just outline some of the finer points that she's got before we go into questions, because I'm sure there's a few of you. I know I've got several questions I'd like to have answered, but I think maybe that would be the best tact. So, Sue, could you give us an overview of the critical elements? There's plenty of things. All of them need to be addressed, but there might be some that bear mentioning here.
Yes, and excuse me if my new kitten keeps running across the screen. First meeting for him, so he's learning. So one of my biggest concerns on this site was constructability and how we're going to be controlling runoff from the site, both during the initial clearing phases as well as they start to progress through the site. As an example, we've got almost 2.5 acres of roof. Well, in the completely developed, that's going to be directed into a subsurface system that will actually detain the water. But so some of my questions are what happens during the process in construction to make sure.
You got muted somehow, Sue.
Sorry, that was Cat. Oh, challenging. So one of my concerns is just making sure that the water is controlled at all stages of development. If you recall, we had some concerns on the Enclave project with water flowing over the abutting septic system. Excuse me, and that's a huge concern for this site because at the toe of the hill is the leaching facility for the hotel. And we want to control the water before it gets down there. We all learned a valuable lesson last July when we had all that rainfall. So that's one of the big concerns. Other concerns I have are with the blasting, the volume of blasting, how it's being done, whether or not the blasting, it's controlled, so there shouldn't be a lot of fractures beyond what's there. But my concern is also that there may be natural fractures in the bedrock that are open, and now we're going to have water migrating through those cracks where we used to have soil above it to filter it. So a lot of the big picture items. Other concerns I have is just site access. We have the driveway coming, the truck access that goes to the loading dock area is a 5% grade. It's got a pretty good bend at the end right before you get to the loading dock. So it would be concerned about access for that. And on the other side, where it's for passenger vehicles, it's a 8% grade. So all of us who drive SUVs in the winter wouldn't be as concerned. But if you get somebody driving a little smart car, they may or may not be able to make it up or down the hill during a winter storm. So those are some of my concerns there. And just making sure that all the eyes are, that it can be constructed. We had some really deep drain manholes that need to be stepped down because I don't think any of us want to see somebody in a 37-foot manhole. So there needs to be tweaks to the design. I'm just looking through some of the stuff. We need a sidewalk connecting the site to the hotel, particularly if the hotel business is going to be improved by this site. I don't know how much more detail you want me to get into on this on Mark. Those are sort of the big items that I saw, and just providing details for all of the information they provided so that I always say, so what you see is what you get. I think we need more details for the board to be assured that what's on the plan can be built the way that it's being shown and that everybody has a good understanding of how things are being built. The driveway coming up into the parking lot areas is going to have a narrow shoulder. Some parts are going to have a Jersey barrier right against the curb line, and then it will continue up. So I just think that the board needs to have a good understanding as to what's happening on the site in terms of how it's being designed. We had concerns about the landscaping because there's areas where we have basins in 34 feet of cut that we presume is going to be in blasted ledge. Trees, how are you planting them in ledge? How are you stabilizing 6 inches of loam on a 3-to-1 ledge slope? Things like that are somewhat practical in nature, but we also want to make sure that it can be built the way the board envisions it from what's being presented to them. So those are the other details that I'm asking for on the site. We tried to get enough detail on the plans so that we could steer their consultant into items that need to be addressed, but we didn't nitpick each and every single item we found. To be honest with you, the more we looked, the more we found, and it's just a case of careful going through and looking at it all. But like I said, my concern, and one of the concerns I have in the construction phasing plan is their proposed basin is directly adjacent to the septic system area for the hotel. And given what we saw happen on Enclave, it makes me very concerned that we need to protect that septic system area. And that whatever basins are being created on the site, the temporary basins, not just be at the bottom of the hill, that we control the water before it gets there. So that's your last stop before it flows into the septic system or the leaching area for their wastewater. And that gives a really brief summary. From what Carlton said, it sounded like he was going to address some of the big picture items, but those are the big items that I see. And a lot of the other stuff is getting into details, number of trees, things like that. But that's the general overview.
So I was just going over the site plan review requirements, right? And I saw evaluation of impact on water resource. The applicant shall submit material as may be required, including measures proposed to prevent pollution of surface or groundwater, erosion of soil, excessive runoff of precipitation, excessive raising or lowering of the water table, and flooding of other properties. And I look at the site, and when I went to the site to look at the road, I was tempted to drive up there in my F-350 four-wheel drive pickup truck, but I actually was afraid of driving up there because of the grade. It is so steep there right now. I get that it's going to be cut down, but I mean that the slope, the fill that's going to be happening, the cut that's going to be happening is all down sloping towards the Aquifer Protection District, and I'm very concerned about the blasting of ledge, which I think is going to be substantial, and the fissures created and the pollution of the aquifer from this development. So I would like a little more information brought to the engineer for that. Part of this project is in the Aquifer Protection District. And so that means that in item 7 in the list, evidence that all approvals required from local boards, commissions, including but not limited to Board of Health, Planning Board, Conservation Commission, and/or Board of Selectmen are obtained prior to the issuance of a special permit. So that means that we have a right to know your leaching field. Is that a DEP approved leaching field or a locally approved Title V leaching field? You have a well that you've already installed. We don't know. We have no water test data provided. I don't believe we don't have the gallons per day that well is going to be producing. I think we should be able to find these things out before we begin to approve. Item 5 is a complete list of approvals. We don't have that yet, so you're going to need to be doing that. I walked the site and measured it, and I find that you're over an acre of land already cleared just to do your testing. And so that means you need a stormwater permit from us, and you haven't applied for one yet, to my knowledge. So those are some of the things that I'm concerned about relative to site plan approval. And now I've just got a couple of questions to ask. One is, last time you guys came for preliminary, I mentioned to you that when the hotel owned all the land, the hotel was compliant with the lot coverage requirements of the day. And the land has since been, it was divided, but it was not sold off. So since you were in conformance when there was a lot coverage requirement, and you sold off, not you, but someone else prior to sold to Gutierrez that land lot coverage area has already been accounted for. And so I'm still looking for an answer from that to that question. And if you have that answer tonight, I'll take it. And if not, if you could bring it to me on the next meeting, that would be great. Do you have that yet, Israel?
So we did look into it, and
Paul Alpin's on the call too, so if you want him to talk.
Oh, is he on? Oh, great. I guess I'll let Mr. Alphin respond. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it tonight, but it looks
He
like
may not have even heard the question, so I'm going to repeat it because I just let him into the room. So, Attorney Alphin, the question that I have is that once upon a time, this land went through a definitive subdivision plan, and it was all owned by the hotel. And then I went and looked at the old zoning bylaw and found out that there was a lot coverage requirement. And they appeared to have met that requirement when the land was all owned by the hotel. And then they, excuse me, subsequently sold to someone else, to Gutierrez in the front and to someone else in the back. And then later Gutierrez picked up the back parcel that's the subject property. But to me, a zoning merger had taken place and all that vacant land was accounted for in order to make the hotel comply with lot coverage. So I didn't know if you have an answer to the question that I have, or at least the opinion that I've formed, and whether or not it's right or it's wrong. Can you speak to that, Paul?
Only partly that I don't know all of those things to be the way things were. Was the property conveyed out in separate ownership before or after the FAR standard was established in town?
The property was sold separately after the, and it isn't FAR, it's lot coverage.
Yeah.
FAR came in after the land was already sold.
You know, we'd have to look at that. The one thing that we saw was the special permit that was issued in 2004 to the hotel, where they got a special permit to increase their lot coverage. And it said that it had been a pre-existing non-conforming situation. So I would have to go back and check the title to both properties and read the bylaw that was in place when that happened. Unless you've put all that together for me, so you can save me the digging, I could do that digging.
Well, we would be happy to give you the bylaw, and then getting the deeds is relatively simple. So, we can get you a copy of the old special permit, but I'm counting on you guys to already have that part of it.
Yeah,
we'll provide you everything we've got, and you can take a look and get back to us by the next meeting.
Sure. I think the only thing I would have to double check to see if I have it or not is the old bylaw, and the rest of it, obviously, we can get.
Okay, great. We will. We'll work with you to get you a copy of the bylaw at the time. Okay, thanks.
Mark,
Yeah.
they may also need a copy of the old site plans, because I too looked at the, I think it was a ZBA decision, and it referred to plans. So for me, it wasn't really clear reading the decision. It referred back to plans, and the plans may hold the key.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yep. The 2004 special permit refers to the plan for the hotel, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that special permit has expired too and was not acted on. So.
Right, but it was important from us historically because we saw that they called the hotel pre-existing non-conforming, and then they granted another special permit to increase it on that particular lot. So
right.
We thought it was meaningful, but we will go back. We'll take a look.
Okay, great. So, Israel, question for you. I don't know if you know the well capacity. How many gallons are coming out of that a day?
Yeah, so the well has not been permitted yet through DEP. We are in the process of permitting that. The pump tests that were performed, the unofficial or the official pump tests, I should say, generated in excess of 7,000 gallons per day, which is the amount that we're requesting a permit for.
Okay. Sue, I see your hand up.
Mark, one of my comments, and I apologize that I jumped around a bit, was to see whether or not the board was interested in having like Haley and Ward review or a geotechnical review the site for water quality and quantity as it relates to the public drinking water supply of both the hotel as well as the new site and the impact on the aquifer. And that's beyond, I mean, I had groundwater hydrology 40 years ago in college, but those guys are up
You don't
to
know
date.
everything?
I try, but the brain doesn't hold it as much anymore. But the board may want to make a decision if they want to have somebody with a broader background in terms of water supply and water quality look at the site to see that adequate provisions are taken.
I love it when people tell me that they don't know something. It gives them more credibility in my eyes.
I know a little bit to be dangerous, but enough to tell you that you might want to consider someone who is an expert in it. Look at it.
Awesome.
I would be in full support of that. And while I'm thinking about it, Sue, I just want to thank you and your team for that very thoughtful compilation of comments regarding this application.
So I'm gonna just, if the board's okay with it, just let me run through my list. I've got another 10 things to just go through. I'll try and go through very quick. No more workout on that site until you get some erosion controls in there and get a stormwater permit. Israel, okay? Unless you've already applied for one. Let's see. I have a question about the elevation at the toe of the hill on the asphalt versus the elevation of the building around the land surrounding the building. Israel, do you know what the difference is in elevation?
Yes, and Carlton, I don't know if you want to bring up your screen. It varies around the site quite substantially.
Sorry, Mike, your question was, the elevation of the building is at 335. Come on now. And then you wanted to know the toe of the slope down here?
Yeah.
It varies from
the asphalt down there.
From the building to the driveway.
From the
This asphalt?
Yeah, the asphalt on the hotel's parking lot versus the elevation around the building. I'm just trying to get
The hotel is about 282, 280.
Okay.
So it would be about 50 feet.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so it's the building, the base of the building basically is going to be 50 feet above the parking lot. And then the building itself is going to be in the neighborhood of 40 feet tall. Is that right?
Yes.
So in aggregate, it's going to be close to 100 feet above the hotel to the roof of the building.
So the roof.
No,
330 at 282 is
from foundation to foundation, from parking lot to parking lot. Or you go from
Parking lot to parking lot about 50 feet.
50 feet, and then you add 40, so it's 40 feet above that.
So 90.
Wow, so that's sticking up above the trees.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, there's no trees.
When they're done,
Well, I mean,
sticking
it's
above the trees in this
Oh.
photo.
And then it's the same thing.
Well, that's looking in the opposite direction.
Parcel
that's
too.
looking
lot
right at it.
495.
It's looking right at it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. That's on that side. Yeah, correct.
Okay. I just wanted to get everyone an understanding of the scope and magnitude of what this is going to look like.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Let's
Mark,
see.
just to add to that, I don't know if I was picked up on this, but it's the same condition at the hotel on 495. And these are very steep slopes. I think they're riprap or they're block walls. So you can't, I know they were noted to be treated with wildflower mix, but there's no woody material that can be planted. And I don't believe you can plant wildflower mix on a riprap wall or concrete block wall either. So this whole site is exposed to both the hotel and the not 495.
Okay. So thanks. That's a good point. So the old plan that I found recorded at the registry showed the hotel's leaching fields to be located where your leaching field is going to be located, the reserve areas. Can you have the engineer just comment on that? What does that do to the compliance of the hotel's subsurface disposal system?
That was my question too. Where's the hotel?
Yeah, so Carlton, well, as you zoom in there, the two leaching field areas are not going to overlap. The two fields do not overlap. So there's an easement that I think you can see on the screen there, the hotel leaching fields, the subsystem tunnels are in those square dashed lines on the top part of the screen. Right there.
Can you give us a clearer picture of that? I'm still not seeing it. I apologize.
We have a septic plan. Maybe that's probably.
Thank you very much.
And Carlton, can you please identify which ones are active? I had a hard time telling which ones were active and which ones were reserved because I had some concern about drainage and proximity to the ones shown on the plan.
So this is our septic field here.
Yep.
And this is the reserve here. And I mean, they're not really overlapping any of these. I guess I'm not clear on. We're outside the easement, and the fields that we've located are all outside of our property.
Okay, that might be, I'm not sure what I was looking at that old recorded plan. You know,
There is one that extends into the easement line, that right there where your cursor is. That one extends into the easement line.
This one here. Okay,
Yep.
Yeah, and these are all located off the record plans that we found, all these areas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is no, just to be clear, there's no overlap with our proposed leach field and the existing hotel's leach field. We provided to the hotel an easement for the hotel's leach fields to encroach onto our land, but we retain the right through those easement agreements to use both the surface, below the surface, and above the surface for roads and utilities and any improvements that need to be made. We actually also have an ability to use the hotel's leach field. We don't know that they have, well, we're not sure what their capacity is for additional capacity to support this project. So just to provide that as some additional.
Okay, so just to be clear, that leaching field at the base of the riprap wall is an active hotel leaching field. That okay. All right.
Yeah, I think you probably need to assume they're all active. We didn't.
Okay. Sue, did you have a comment?
Question?
Who's speaking?
Mark, Rebecca, can I ask a quick question while we're looking at this plan? Just for clarity, the dark dash line is the property line, correct? It's
correct.
Okay, I didn't see that labeled anywhere. And then the line that goes kind of runs along the bottom of that, there's like another dashed line that kind of goes through, go south with your pointer, go north with your pointer. North, that line. Oh, you just went by it. Okay, that's the limit of aquifer. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see the title on that. Thank you. I just wanted clarification on that.
Okay, so let's see. Have you done any deep hole tests or anything to confirm that the leaching area isn't all impervious?
I'll let you respond, Carlton.
I'm sorry, the wording you're using, are you asking if we've tested it to see if the leaching field is feasible, the septic field?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
We've provided, I don't know how many test pits, but yes, we have all these squares in here represent our deep holes and perk tests in here that all passed, and it's designed appropriately.
Oh, okay.
And those were witnessed by the... Apologies.
Do those get submitted to, who do they get submitted to, DEP or to Boxborough Board of Health?
So we have our submittal ready to submit. We haven't submitted it to the Board of Health yet. We submitted all our test pits to Sue, so she has all that information if she wants to review it. But we haven't formally submitted anything for approval for the septic system at this point.
Okay.
So we've, and just to follow up on that, we have, all of the test pits have been witnessed and approved by the Boxborough Board of Health agent. And so the plans are prepared, and the last thing that we were working on was finalizing the septic plans and designs, and those will be ready for submission to the BOH.
Okay. One of our consulting engineer's comments was regarding the parking area. And the parking area, and I'm just going off a memory of her letter, said to the effect of 1 space per 250 square feet of GFA. And I don't think that your parking area satisfied that. There is a waiver or perhaps a special permit. I think it's just a waiver for the parking if there's reason or cause not to have the required number of spaces. And then there are parking differences between certain uses that could be proposed in the building. So if you are asking for less than one of the proposed uses would require, then you need to ask for permission not to have the correct number. It's something that needs to be addressed. We just talked about rock processing with the builder, the site contractor. Yeah, that the idea of 6 months or 8 months of rock processing and hammers and other things going on in the back of the hotel while they're trying to do functions up front. We need some definitive answers on that. Cubic yards of cut, cubic yards of fill, and what is the difference in material going to be leaving the site? Let's see, your site contractor said it's an extremely challenging site. It really looks it. It's going to be, once cleared, you're going to have erosion issues. You're going to have where you want to be siting all your equipment while you're doing work, cutting the hill. That's where all the material has to be pushed down to. It's going to be a very difficult and time-consuming site if it works out. Really worried about first the aquifer while you're doing all this work and blasting and hammering, and then also worried about the aquifer when you're done. If you're having life science buildings in here, we have done one, and because we're really not a community equipped to handle the requirements of a life science facility, we are making the other one cart the water away. Your leaching field might be out of the aquifer district. It might just be out of it. We can request testing to see how close it really is to the leaching field is to the aquifer. And I think our consulting engineer that Sue suggested would be able to review any of that data and help us try and make a determination on that. The riprap wall and the runoff associated with it is all running towards the hotel's leaching field. That can be problematic. And then lastly, we need to make on a special permit, we need to make a specific finding that your building is a benefit to the community. And I know they're not here tonight, I don't think, but if Francie was here or Barbara, they'd be really bugging you to make your building super energy efficient and code plus energy efficient, and also put a whole ton of solar on that roof, which is almost an acre. So, and parking. Yeah. Those are my comments. Is there another, board members want to raise your hands, and maybe we can just run through your lists one at a time? I'm not seeing hands, but so I see Rebecca's hand up. There you go. All right.
Go ahead. I was waiting for Cindy to jump in.
I'm gonna defer to you, Rebecca. Maybe you'll help whittle down my list.
So I'm definitely interested in the area of disturbance. I won't beat that horse anymore. I know Sue has asked for extensive amount of information, and Mark, you just did as well. Let's see. I am concerned with these very excessive grade changes on property and the inability to be able to plant any of them. We are completely devastating this site. I don't know if we could be more insensitive to a site, in my opinion. And there's a large diversion of surface water, I feel. And, I'll defer to Sue. She's the, professional in this area, but I feel like it is getting water diverted towards the hotel. It's getting water diverted towards in the other direction as well. And then we've got this excessive slope that's going, I feel like water's being maybe moving away from the aquifer and away from what is, this is not a designated site for natural heritage and endangered species, but it's very close to one. So I think that we should be very thoughtful about that. Let's see. I had a quick question and maybe Sue, you can answer this. I went through all of our rules and regs and stuff like that, and I found something that said, sorry, bear with me just for a second. A buffer zone shall be maintained in an undisturbed condition with a minimum depth of 50 feet from and along the entire perimeter of a property covered under the special permit. However, in the wetland zone and buffer zone, there should be a 100-foot wide buffer beginning at the edge of the wetlands. So my question to you is, why wouldn't that apply to this particular project? And if it does, I think that kind of cinches things in a little bit to be able to create a buffer along there, but maybe you can clarify for me.
If you look at the buffer zone, it's just barely comes into the edge of the cul-de-sac at Adams Place. So they are staying outside the 100-foot buffer, and that's why they filed an RDA with conservation.
That's on the wetlands. What about the undisturbed 50 along the perimeter?
That, down by the leaching field, that's almost impossible for them to get access in. So that really comes into play with how the board views it. I saw that and I should have commented on it, but I think one of those was against a residential use, and a hotel is considered a commercial use. So I think that's where I looked at it, where it talked about residential uses.
So I found this in like the rules and regs. It's 2.8, and it just speaks to the offset of the perimeter property line. So I think we should look at that because we're clearly not doing that.
I'll look at that again.
Before you go on to your next comment, I see Paul Alphin's hand, and he may want to talk about it.
No, I just was asking for the clarification where the requirement came from, and I heard that it was section 2.8 in the subdivision rules and regulations. Is that correct?
I actually found it referenced in two places, Paul. So one was, I think, in earth removal. So we'll hear more about that down the road. But then I found it in, I'm trying to find it.
2.8 site plan regulations?
No, I referenced it in two places, Sue, but one was earth removal. Yeah, I think it's actually, it might all be in earth removals in the bylaw and in the rules and regs.
Okay, so I raised the question as to whether or not the earth removal is applicable to this site, because this work would be done in conjunction with a building permit for the building.
Yeah.
So that's where I wasn't sure.
Right. Okay.
Well, I think we also need to know how much material is going to leave the site. And when you process rock, you usually double or triple its volume too. So a lot of material can be leaving the site.
If I may just ask for further clarification on that, because the request has been made. a number of times for that volume. Is the goal to understand how many trucks are leaving the site or entering the site? I guess if you
How much earth you'll be removing?
Yeah.
So all of the above, right? How much rock will be processed? How long will it take? How many trucks will leave the site? How much earth will be leaving the site when you're talking about an earth removal permit? Sue points out, I have to read our earth removal permit. Lots of earth removal permits usually only allow you to remove a percentage of the volume of the building footprint, not, and more than that is usually, requires a permit. But Sue's familiar with them and I'm not in Boxborough.
And
But
the
something
key thing on that was removal of loam. Loam can't be removed out of town. So it needs to be looked at.
I just have
Rebecca, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No worries. It's good to talk about. I did have one more comment. Per the site plan approval rules and regs, it calls 4.6 siting and appearance guidelines. Number 2, it says building design should be compatible with the recommended architectural styles in the design review guidelines. So this may trigger a review.
Review by who? By who? The board?
I would assume it's referencing design review guidelines, so I'm assuming that it would be design review board.
Your design review board is very limited to basically the town center town center zoning.
No, there is a special permit requirement that is in other districts. I've read it in the past.
So I'm referencing site plan approval rules and regs 4.6 siting and appearance guidelines number 2. I'm not sure what other authority would be able to review design review board guidelines. So I'm just tossing it out there.
I think the concern is that if the design review guidelines don't apply to this part of town, why would they apply to this project?
I'm only reading the rules and regs of the site plan review process.
All right, we'll include this in our homework assignment.
Sure. Mark, I think that's what I have for now.
Okay. Kathy or Cindy or Mark, you guys want to raise your hands?
I'm gonna let Cindy do her thing.
All right, I'll try and cut through my notes and highlight the main points. Some of this was just a comparison to technical review. I think I pointed this out in our the development review meeting, that the zoning table that's on the plan sheet C102 conflicts with the zoning table provided in the application letter. I think it was called Exhibit 1. And specifically the max building height, the zoning table says 40 feet, the application says 52 feet. And somewhere else, I think I saw 45 feet. So I guess some clarification on that. There was footnote references on incorrectly on that zoning table. So I guess I would just ask that you go back and review the zoning table on sheet C102 and make sure that proposed existing is all consistent with what you're actually proposing. I've got many of the same types of comments, so I won't go back over what's already been said. On the evaluation of impact on landscape, the total trees don't match what the calculation should be for your own table on L101A. The table based on the site plan rules and regs, I think, shows 290 spaces, which would equal 116 trees. This is in the parking area, and that 67 trees are proposed. So I would ask for you to just, again, these are slightly technical numbers. I think we already talked about the issue about the not being an established tenant at this point. I think the parking estimate, as we talked about, was based on building size. Sue's recommendation is that you may take the most conservative building use, I think, for calculation of parking spaces, and the planning board does have the discretion, I think, to reduce that. I think there was something about proposed loading docks to be about 5 loading docks, but that the facility could be moved up to 8 loading docks. And I did a quick comparison with the Amazon facility in Littleton, which has 14 loading docks. Now, that is an e-commerce facility. This is not being proposed to be used as an e-commerce facility, as far as I know. But when you get up to that number of loading docks and the same amount of square footage, it starts to look a little bit like that Amazon distribution facility. So I just want to mention that to the board members, that what's being proposed with no tenant in mind could potentially evolve into something closer to that type of facility. Let's see what else. I, again, very much have the same concerns regarding stormwater. I did drive out to the Marlboro site today and took some photographs. The scale and the impact to that property was much larger than what I interpreted was from the plan drawings. I do have some photos which I can share with the board if they're interested tonight. I think Israel may have shared 1 or 2, but seeing this building, I think it's mostly complete. I think that December is the date for completion, so it's pretty representative. And as I said, I'm happy to share those photos in a minute. I did also take a look at the traffic report and found some items that didn't quite add up in my mind. I think same engineering firm that prepared the Vibalogics and Aranta Biotraffic report prepared this traffic report, but this report didn't seem to account for the Aranta Bio added trips. I didn't see trips related to the Regency Hotel factored in. I did notice that future build did not account for the Campanelli development just recently, and this is very new information that we received from Campanelli about their complete build out would have much higher traffic than they even originally anticipated. I think they were assuming 10,000 trips, but their new traffic report identifies close to 14,000 trips if phase 2 were to come to fruition. So your traffic report may want to include that. There was mention of mitigation proposed widening at the intersection at Adams Place, making the left-hand turn into Adams Place from Mass Ave. But that wasn't obvious to me how that lane widening would work, and it still appeared that the intersection analysis was still at a level service F, which doesn't sound too promising, and that no single warrant is being proposed, even though now you're adding more trips and more turns at that location, and there were several crashes over the years at that intersection. So I guess those are just some comments on the traffic report. Let's see. Other than that, I think I also had on my list to ask you about the question Mark Barbadaro brought up earlier about the lot coverage. So it sounds like you're going to be looking into that. The radius from the proposed zone 1 well, I think you're showing 227 feet, and I want to verify if that's what pump volume that's based on, and if that zone 1 well is sufficient, and also the proximity from the zone from 1 and 2 well radiuses from the hotel. I think you did demonstrate that you're far enough away, but I guess I wasn't sure what the basis for those distances were, so I wanted some verification on that. I asked earlier about the isolated wetland on the site, and my understanding is that was being fed by a spring. So my concern is that if this whole thing gets paved over, what's the flow from that spring? What happens to that water? And also, did you obtain a stormwater permit for the initial access roadway, which did look like a fairly wide roadway that may be greater than an acre. So those are my general comments. And I think, again, I reiterate much of what's already been said, but I am concerned about the massing of this building on that site. And I'm happy to share with the board a few photos that I took today, if they'd be interested in seeing those.
I'd be interested, Cindy.
I'd like to see him put them up,
Sure.
please.
Let me get my own photos in order here, if I may. Sorry, bear with me one sec.
And then email them to the planner so we can put them in with the record.
Sure.
I also have some photos. I'm happy to put them up on the screen as well. We had more, but we didn't share all of them.
Let's see. Forgotten how to share a screen here.
Dave,
Oh, there we go. Okay, share a screen. Got it. All right. It's probably a disaster, but I'll get that. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
And these are just from my rainy car windshield here. So, but I think they're somewhat represented. That's the entrance with the cut. So not great photography. I apologize, but the best I could do. I think it's just those 5 photos. So.
Yeah, and this, while you have this up on the screen, one of the differences between this project and the proposed project is similar to 244 Adams Place. There's also a 360-degree access driveway that wraps around the building. Truck access is routed. This is the truck access roadway, which is also at 5%, which is consistent with what we're proposing for 244. This site actually has more change in topography than 244 Adams. And so one of the ways that we were able to deal with that without having to increase the amount of cut on the site was to make the entrance for this project 3 stories tall. So, you know, it's out of the picture frame here, but page left of where that photo was taken from is the entrance to the building, which, there you go. So that's a 3-story entrance where the lobby for the building is closer to grade, and then the main floor is above that. So, so this building isn't 3 stories in its entirety. It just has a 3-story entrance so that we can manage the elevation at that entry point. That wasn't really an option for 244 Adams, given the layout of this site, and so that's one of the differences. But so this height here at the entry point will be taller than the 244 project proposal.
So just, it's hard to tell from photos what a slope when you're looking, you know, photographing a driveway. So a 5% slope, if you park your car on a 5% slope and you get out and open the door will swing shut from gravity.
No.
If you're talking about, excuse me?
Well, I'm sorry. I don't think that's accurate.
Okay.
But what the access driveway here, so where this picture is taken from currently, that's a 6% slope. And the other picture that was just on the screen, that's a 5% slope. So, you know, that's a 5% slope. And that's what's proposed for 244 Adams. It's a very common access slope and works well for, you know, the types of vehicles that are going to be accessing the site. The site is not going to be accessed by WB-60 tractor trailers. These are smaller trucks that generally provide, you know, the shipping materials for these projects. So, but I think I'm not sure if it's apparent in the picture. That's not a very you know, steep slope.
No, I don't think a 5% slope is an aggressive slope by any measure, but I do think it is enough to make your car doors shut on their own. But I would also say that your project also proposes an 8% slope, and that, for a reference, is a handicap ramp, which when you get over 5%, you have to build, to give you an idea of the steepness, you go to 5.1%. And now you have to build the walk as if it were a handicap ramp or get a variance. And so
Right.
it is a significant slope, but it is not an aggressive slope. And 8% is a handicap ramp, and it is a noticeable slope. And you have that in your property. And
Right.
Sue pointed out that, rightly pointed out that since what you're creating is not a road, you will need a variance from the AAB if you put a sidewalk on it.
So I think that was the general sum of my comments. I am concerned about noise and impact to the hotel. The scale of that building will certainly hover over the hotel. I did drive by 1414 Mass Ave today, which is about 300,000 square feet, and I did not get the same sense of massing as the proposed building that I went to visit today in Marlborough. So I thought that was a very impactful sense. Oh, the one other thing I wanted to mention is that the area, right, part of the property and to the east, I guess, is considered DEP habitat of statewide importance. And UMass also prepares a map called CAPS, where they've done a sort of an index of ecological impact. And this site is also closely adjacent to areas that have been highlighted for important ecological value. So by taking down that hill, I think we are very near impacting some very important wildlife habitat. So just want to point that out.
It's the town's largest DEP important habitat, contiguous parcel that you're going to be cutting into. So it's important.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mark, you got any comments after all of the comments we've already done?
I prefer to let everybody else do all
Okay.
the talking, but I guess I'd like to pass on these high level concerns, not particular, because at this point, I think it should be high level so that the applicant knows where we're coming from and what kind of criteria they're going to have to satisfy. I mean, maybe you know us, maybe you don't, but in Boxborough, we're on wells. And that's not going to change anytime soon. And that's probably our primary concern. You have to understand their concern about the water resource. You're right there on top of it. And so when you blast a lot, you're going to impact our water resources. And I think one of the recommendations from Places Associates was we're going to need to understand how that's going to impact the water resources, because that's all the water we got. And if you're sitting right on top of it, then we're going to make sure that that's protected. So every step of this is you're going to keep hearing us talk about that. So that's who we are. We're on well water. The other issue, I mean, I'm just going to reiterate it. Everybody else has, but I'm going to follow it with the same thing what Mark raised about the original breakout of those lots and the lot coverage issues that apply to those. You can't take a lot, qualify on footage, and then break it out later on and then sell off part of it and still be qualified on footage. So somebody's going to have to go figure that all out, find all the paperwork, whether if a prior zoning board of appeals issued a special permit for that you can burn that, because now that it's expired, it's absolutely useless to you. And if we find that that's not applicable, then you're going to have to struggle with that. This denseness of what happens at the entrance with the septic systems, to me, is there's a lot going on there. You can't even point to where the active septic system is. I see other squares drawn on that plan. It's like those all say expansion systems too. It's like, we're going to need to know what's what there. That's for sure. The other big issue, obviously, for Boxborough is traffic impacts. I mean, Cindy raised it. We have other developments now that are around you. We need to understand what the total traffic impact is going to be. Maybe you're not the last in the door, but we're going to have to assume somebody else might be before you, before this gets permitted. And you're going to have to take some of those traffic impacts into account. We're going to need to understand how much traffic is going to emanate from that site. And if we haven't taken into account the Cisco properties that look like they're going to be developed somewhere or other, and 1414 Mass Ave, if those aren't in your traffic studies, well, then they're going to need to be. My concern also is it's prime uplands there. I mean, it is a sensitive habitat. If you've ever walked out there, you have to walk over the top of the hill to understand where you are. But probably not a lot we can do about that other than, implore you to do as little damage as possible. One other issue I think I need to have made clear to me is with no established tenants, you're building a building that anybody could come into. And so I need to make sure that I think the town would want to know that there's going to be a subsequent review of anybody who moves in there, that there has to be some review of those impacts. So, for example, if another Biologics comes in, that what we talked about before, processed water isn't going to go into your septic system. I mean, you guys got to know that right off the bat. No processed water in your septic system, period. And so as long as that's understood, and as long as we can feel confident that we're going to have a subsequent review of whoever comes there, whatever business comes there, and that they understand it, so you know it, so you can tell them before they come, then we'll be okay. But I just want to make sure, I want to ask the rest of my board, is that going to happen? I mean, does our process allow us to review the use that comes in? And I think the answer is yes. So while we're going to permit you for a building, for a structure, whoever's going to move into it with whatever use they have is going to have to, we're going to have a second look at that and understand how that gets used. So those are really my big issues. I mean, there's been enough of the other issues as well. So I think you got a lot of homework to do, but it's a big project. You got to understand, I mean, your impact here is much more significant than any of the other projects that have come before us recently. I mean, this thing is sticking out of the ground 90 feet. That's big. That's going to be looming over 495. That's going to be looming over the hotel. Maybe the hotel doesn't care. Maybe people on 495 don't care, and maybe I don't care because I can't see it from my house, and probably most of Boxborough is not going to see it from any place but 495. So I think that's surmountable, but I think you have to be sensitive to it at the same time. And so maybe one of the thoughts might be, maybe you don't go 2 stories. Maybe you get your square footage out of something high enough. I mean, again, the Biologics at 1414 Mass Ave isn't as tall as what you guys are proposing. And so that might be something you might want to consider. That's all I have to say.
So, Kathy, do you have any comments or questions or comments?
It's hard to find any to add to the thoroughness, and this is my first permit process, so I am humbled by the thorough job that the group does, in addition to the place's commentary. So, but I agree with several people who've mentioned it on the water issue, because I honestly believe that with the amount of blasting in that particular area, I am on the entirely opposite eastern side of town, and my water could be affected based on studies that have been done in the past about, deep fissure wells and things like that. So I don't know how you get mastery of knowledge on what the impact's going to be. I think it's a huge project, but I think it's critical for people in Boxborough to have some effort put into that.
So our engineer suggested that we get a water consultant, and I can't recall the name of the firm.
Haley Ward.
Haley Ward. So should we hold a vote and whether or not, because I know that several of us have expressed an interest in getting another consultant in. I would like, if we decide to use Haley Ward, to get them to review the Aquifer Protection District border, because the leaching field is bumping up against the Aquifer Protection border. And usually leaching fields always find their way into the aquifer because that's where the best perking is happening. So does anyone want to just make a motion that we would like to include Haley Ward in our consulting with this project?
So moved.
I'd like to make a motion that we hire an outside consultant. I'm not sure that Haley Ward is the correct consultant for this. If the focus is on the aquifer, I'd like to investigate several consultants that might be skilled in the assessment of the aquifer and the impact. So I would amend the motion to say or other outside consultants.
So you don't have to amend it. Make
Okay.
the motion.
Yeah, just make the motion. Tell us what you want it to say.
Sorry, I move that we hire an outside consultant to address the aquifer impact issues associated with this project.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Okay, Cindy Markowitz,
Markowitz, aye.
Mark White,
White eye.
Kathy Vorse,
Aye.
Rebecca Werner,
Turner, aye.
and Mark Barbadoro, aye. Okay.
Sorry, Mark, I should have asked the question now that we've made that vote. At whose cost will this consultant be paid?
The same way all our consultants get paid by consent of the applicant to pay for the bill.
Okay.
Under a 53G. So,
Hand up.
yeah, Rebecca, sorry about that.
No. It's just one more quick question I had. Under 6105 private common driveways, it references the Boxborough driveway approach bylaw. I can't find it. Does anybody know where this is? I searched our bylaw and it only references it, but I can't find the bylaw. And it's not listed on the planning board site or webpage. Maybe Tracy could.
It's a one pager. Sorry, it's a two pager. No, it is a one pager. Appendix A, under the private common driveway guidelines, is the driveway approach bylaw, and it's all of 2 paragraphs.
Okay.
Happy to send
Would
it.
you mind sending that around? I just, because I couldn't reference it. I couldn't find it.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I think obviously we have to continue this hearing for a variety of reasons. One reason is we can't approve a special permit until all permits, town permits have been identified and all permits have been approved. But I think we can, use a little discretion on the approved part. But so we're going to need a list of those, and we're going to need them to be approved. But before that, any of that, we have, we need to get a stormwater management plan from the applicant. They need to put in erosion controls for the clearing that they've already done, because they've cleared over an acre already. And I understand that it's, they're in the exploratory phase and they've cleared a little bit more than they maybe were anticipating when they started. But that would be helpful to have that by the next meeting. So I'm really bad with calendars. So if Tracy and anyone in the board could help guide us to the next meeting and a time and date certain and make a motion.
So your next meeting date is August 1st. And then you're not meeting until August 29th.
Okay, is 2 weeks going to be enough, Israel, or should we probably put you to the 29th? I think the 29th. What is the board, how does the board feel about that?
2 weeks is a pretty quick turnaround for consultants and everything.
I think the 29th. What do you say? Someone want to make a motion for that and pick a time?
I believe we also may be seeing Campanelli proposal on the 29th.
Correct.
Maybe be opening that hearing.
Well,
We can do both, but just wanted to identify that.
I think that's important. One is going to have to be attenuated perhaps, but I think we should, I think that they're going to be waiting 6 weeks. I think we should see them again. What do you think? Board?
Great.
Yes, August 29th.
Okay, so someone can make a motion.
Move to continue the public hearing for 244 Adams Place until August 29th, 2022 at what time, Tracy?
You could do 7:05 if you want, right up.
Is Campanelli already have a time?
No.
Okay. 7:05 PM.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Kathy?
Horse, yes, aye.
Mark White?
Aye.
Rebecca Werner?
Werner, aye.
Cindy Markowitz?
Mark Whit's aye.
And Mark Barbadoro, aye. Israel, thanks for the presentation. And if you could get us the information by the next meeting, that would be great. And if you can get us a stormwater permit in the interim, that would also be great. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. And if I could just very quickly ask or confirm whether it would be okay for myself and my team, of course, through the planning board and through the new town planner, to communicate with Sue Carter to answer questions and just make sure that she has all the information that she needs.
Israel, I really want you to work closely with the planner and Sue Carter and take their guidance. Although Tracy's new, Sue's been doing this with Boxborough a long time, and she will definitely help make this better. I think you coming down here and giving us this big presentation, which was much appreciated. I know that you're in that position where you're kind of wondering where we're going to wind up at the end of all this, but I think so just to give you a sense, and this is not a vote, but it is my sense that that building is monstrously tall relative to the hotel. It will have no vegetation separating the two, but a riprap wall. It is cutting into DEP important habitat. Putting aside whether or not it is allowed to be done without a variance due to lot coverage and zoning merger. For me, it's really got to look good when you pull into that parking lot, and it's really got to it's really got to fit the scenery, because Boxborough, that's how all our office parks are. They are beautiful. Like Boxborough is beautiful in its commercial space, and it can't look like Marlborough. Not that Marlborough isn't a beautiful city. It's just a different environment. So just wanted to leave you with
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback.
Okay, thank you very much. What is next on our agenda?
All right, thank you.
Excuse me, Mark, do you need me for anything else?
I think that I don't know. I'm going to pull up the agenda. Give me 1 minute to look at it. Sorry about that. Let's see here.
And I have no updates on Enclave because I was out last week with COVID, so I never went on site, so.
How was the COVID? Okay.
Huh?
Was the COVID all right?
Yeah, I just had super mild case and I was just tired. I was a couch potato for a week.
I had a ferocious case of it, and
Wow.
it was awful. I just so unhappy. Let's see. and brain fog. I don't have many brain cells left. I don't have much to lose. So let's see here. I think you're good, Sue. Thank you
Okay,
for
good.
coming out.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Okay, let's see, next on the agenda is zoning recodification, timeline, and finalizing, and bringing to town meeting. Where are we?
Sarah's Way?
You have the decision.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Thank you.
Do
Yep.
we want to hold that until later in the meeting, or you
Yeah.
want to do it now? I know Mark would like.
Yeah, we could let Mark go last rather than have him come and go. That would stink. Is that okay with you guys?
Thank you.
Let's do that. Okay, so back to the zoning codification timeline. Where are we? I don't want it to die on the vine here. We've spent town money. We need to finish the project.
Correct. Did you, I don't know if the group saw the, they call it a CRM, which is their matrix. I don't know if everybody looked at it. I can share my screen if you want.
Please.
Can you see that document?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what, when I talked to Judy and Tyler, I had told them that a lot of the comments from the board were, you know, what. Sorry. Hold on one second.
Take two.
We'll try again here. Okay, there we go. I had told them that a lot of the concern was that you had made comments but didn't know where they showed up in the document. So what they had said that they have done, as an example in Walpole, is they had done a matrix to show comments and where they ended up. So when I discussed this with Judy, she said this was not part of the scope in the original contract, which I included in your packets. But because we haven't used some of the, oh my God.
We haven't used some of the budget for
Yes, I'm
them.
going to stop I'm going to stop sharing. I apologize.
I think it's more important that we have our comfort level satisfied than to have them come and defend their bylaw to the town.
So what we can do is we can reallocate some of the leftover, there's still about $10,000 left. They can reallocate the follow-up meetings, but we would still have to come up with about $2,000. So I wanted to talk to the board and to see how you felt. I'm not really familiar with the budget for the department because I didn't set it, but I can sit down and I can look through it, but I didn't want to do that if that's not how you wanted to go by this. Judy's suggestion was she didn't want to touch the money for the final draft because that's the whole purpose of this, was for you to get a good draft and the materials to go to town meeting with and everything. But she thought if she could forego, her and Tyler could forego some follow-up meetings, then she could take some money from that. So I don't know how the board feels about that.
I don't feel like going back and asking for money that we don't have in our budget. That's for darn sure. Mark, go ahead.
I hate to say it to them, but I think it was part of their scope. I think they're going to go back to the original contention that, well, you know, your original copy of the bylaw was corrupt. And it's like, well, that they should have established, you know, what they had to work with in the beginning. And I don't feel comfortable going back to the town for more money because we really have a mishmash to show for it at this point.
Okay.
Whether that grid that you put up is going to accomplish what it is that we wanted, that's kind of a mystery to me, because I don't know what to do about this. I'm really, you know, because we all went through it, 2 boards, we all gave our comments, we saw the changes. Well, we saw the changed product, the changed end result, but we didn't see the changes actually happen. And so none of us are really confident that the original bylaw is still there with unchanged. So I'm kind of I mean, I guess we're in the same space where we were before. I don't know how to handle this.
Yeah.
But I don't feel comfortable about going back to the
Okay.
town and saying, well, we need $2,000 more to iron this out, because I'm not sure $2,000 is going to do it.
Okay. Then, can I set up a meeting? Mark, would you be willing to have a meeting with Judy and Tyler and myself and maybe Carter to?
Who wants to join me?
Mhm.
One member can join me.
I'll do it if you want. But Tracy, did you ask them again if they could do a side-by-side comparison?
They said that they couldn't do that. That wasn't part of the scope. And I think the impression that I got that there was a lot of communication breakdown, and I don't want to blame anybody, but I think they were relying on Simon to do some things, and I kind of felt like they were probably just as frustrated as you are. So I think maybe a meeting with a couple of board members who were part of this process, because it's really hard for me to kind of advocate when I wasn't part of this process. So I didn't know how it all played out. So if maybe two of you members would be willing to do that, if Mark and Cindy want to do that with me, I think that would be very beneficial.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Mark, you were there for the ZBA comments, and Cindy.
Yep.
and Cindy's good at that stuff, so.
Yeah. So I apologize for pushing this off even further, but that was the proposal they came back with after we met, so.
Well, that's fine. Let's sit down with them and talk to them and
Okay.
explain to them what we're looking for.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I want to remind the board that when we last met with them, they promised to give us a compared document. They told us that he had a way of comparing them side by side, and he was going to prepare that for us and deliver that to the board, and we never received that. So to come back now and say we want more money to do it, I feel like we haven't gotten a product yet, which is frustrating.
Okay. Thank you, Rebecca.
Okay, so open space and recreation plan update. Do we have a draft on the website?
We do not, but we have one that we're close. I had to push it back by 2 weeks
Okay.
because of some missing GIS files. But today, Bob and I were working, and we're very close to having a draft on the website. I will actually send it out to the board first.
And Bob is confident that we are not going to impact the grant writing abilities for 95 Sergeant Road, right?
Actually, the state, I wrote to the state about that, and I got back and they said, no, it is not impacted, whether, as long as it's in place for the application, which has already been filed, even
Yep.
if, it will not impact that grant, the land grant.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I have that in writing from the state, so,
Awesome. Perfect.
yeah.
All right. Well, then the pressure's kind of off, but we do need to push
Yeah,
that.
but we'll still get it done.
Yeah. So let's get a copy up on the website and let the citizens read it so we can move forward.
I mean, I just remind you that we do have money in our budget. We have a consulting budget.
We
have
do.
some money, but
Mhm.
I'm not about to spend the town's money. I mean, that consulting budget is for stuff that we didn't already contract for.
Right.
We
Yep.
contracted for this.
Yep.
So,
Understood.
So, update on extension of remote meetings. It is into March of 2023, as far as I know. That's what Carter sent out. And I have a feeling they'll make it permanent, but definitely the pressure is off there. So, does anybody have any questions about that? Anybody unhappy with meeting virtually and would want to meet in person? Because I've just been assuming, I know several of us are happy with virtual meetings, but I don't know if all of us are. Are we all okay with virtual meetings?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. 'Cause
Kathy, are you old school or what?
no, she said she liked it.
Oh, I much prefer the virtual meetings. I'm not as adept as many of the rest of you as far as manipulating, tools, sharing screens, that kind of business. So
We'll teach you.
There's time to learn.
I-
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
3 years.
3 years to learn.
So,
That's how
okay.
you keep your brain cells active.
That's right.
Learn new things.
Tracy, have you been keeping a list for us for updates that we're not privy to? And you're muted.
The only update that I really wanted to share is that we got 4 applications in for the associate planner. So we're going to start some interviews. So I'm
great.
I'm pretty excited about that. So
Awesome.
yeah, I'll keep you posted on that. So
Good. All right. We don't have any enclave updates from Sue Carter, and I'm assuming Tracy doesn't have anything new from them. So we have meeting minutes, my favorite, June 27th, 2022. Tracy, can you put them up?
I can try to do that.
Well, I might be able to do it now. Oh, no, I can't. I didn't log in my home computer.
Dude, the minutes weren't in the packet.
Yeah, but I'm
Draft
using
minutes, June 27th, sorry.
Yeah, I'm using my laptop, so I can't. It's hard to explain, but I can't access the Dropbox on my laptop.
I wasn't there for that one.
I think you were, Mark, because later on you make a comment in the meeting minutes. So that was one of my comments, that is Mark White supposed to be listed here?
Comment suspended notification form.
This would have been our last meeting, yeah.
Oh, I was at the last meeting.
Yeah, this was when Campanelli presented. You were there for that
Yeah,
one.
no, I was there, right.
You made
Mark White and
comments
Mrs.
later on.
Vorsex. Oh, that was the last one, yeah. So
So add Mark.
that'll be one amendment.
Going down to line number 42, it says Mark White. We should probably be consistent with Mr. White, like we've done throughout the rest of the document. And I think likewise, it says Rebecca Werner in the next paragraph. I don't know, I guess one way or another, if it's Miss Werner or Mr. White or.
No, I mean, if you tell her to do that, she'll try and make it.
On line 80, I just jumped in. I hope that's okay. Line 80, it was noted the applicant will likely need to file for site plan review for both uses on the site. Oh, forget it. No, I got it. Sorry, skip that one. I think that's it. That's my only comments.
I had just a couple, only 2, I think. Janet Connolly's title is actually associate member, not alternate member. And then that was at the beginning. And on line 142, I believe it's Codman Hill Road, not Codman Way. And that is my only comment. Sorry, that was 142.
Any other comments?
Hi, this is Janet.
Hey, Janet.
Maybe this is optional, line 23. This is a good location along Route 495.
What line number?
23.
23. Yeah, sure. Accepted.
And let's see, I think it's 113. Line 113. The select board voted that the town would continue to work with Littleton. Do we mean Littleton Water Department?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Then we need to say that. And then line 130, regarding small cell, Ms. Markowitz stated that Littleton has requested that the select board policy be amended. What
Littleton Electric.
Okay, so that should say a Littleton Electric Department.
Good catches.
That's it for me.
I love the detail work here. That's awesome. Who else has got anything?
Just in terms of like public understanding and value of these minutes, this is a question on line 25. There's an acronym that's not defined. NHESP.
We should.
Yeah,
We should
always acronyms should be given full expansion of what they mean. You do
So
it the
what
first
did you
time,
say,
and then
Ed?
afterwards you can use it.
Did you just say
Natural heritage.
NHESP? Yeah, natural heritage.
And endangered species program.
Yeah.
That's a good catch. I like those because people don't know what it means.
Definitely. Any others?
Motion to approve the minutes of June 27th, 2022 as amended.
Second,
Any discussion? Hearing none. Mark White,
white eye.
Cindy Markowitz,
Markowitz, aye.
Kathy Borse,
Forsyth.
Rebecca Werner,
Werner, I.
Mark Barbadoro, aye. Awesome. Let's see, any correspondence and new business?
I got a question.
Sure.
Something that's kind of come to me through a number of people who contemplating solar installations. And so the question is, we can't sell back to Littleton. Whatever our solar gain is, we can't sell any excess off to Littleton. Is that true?
We are allowed to sell back to them, but they will limit the size of the system based on they have a maximum. I can't remember exactly how they do it. It's like your usage plus something, but not to exceed 10 kilowatt system.
I thought it was 8, but up to 15. So you can use it 8 and sell. Sorry, now I'm getting mixed up. Up to 15, I believe.
Anyways, you can do it, but if you tie in, they're going to limit the size of your system, and they're going to do it based on your monthly bills or the maximum allowable size. And
Okay, so,
it's on their website.
So if your monthly bills are $100 a month, then they're going to limit you to that number of kilowatts of electricity? No.
No, you can be, they'll limit you to that, and they'll allow you to sell back a certain quantity. So they'll allow you to use, to be ahead, to actually profit, but not by a ton.
And so where would people go to find out?
It's on the LELD website. And I mean, if you go to their solar,
Go to Littleton, then so they make the rules, basically.
they make the rules. Yep. If you want to tie into their system, they make the rules. Yep.
And if we ever wanted to change those rules, how does that work?
We wage war with Littleton, and we get on the board of directors of LELD somehow.
So
Yeah.
I did notice that Littleton's Electric only has five members, and they're all members of the Littleton, or the residents of the town of Littleton. I don't believe Boxborough, and I haven't looked at their charter, but I don't believe Boxborough actually has representation on the Littleton Board of Directors, which is concerning.
Interesting. Okay, thanks. I just wanted to ask that question so the public could hear the answer.
It's still worth your while to do it. I mean, the problem with Littleton Electric is they're so efficient and so cheap. They make it hard to put solar on your building.
I mean, they are good. They're a great company, but
Yeah,
still nice if you could make a couple of bucks off your solar installation, help offset the costs. So.
absolutely. Let's see, what else? So we got correspondence from Ms. Schmidt, and I will be giving that to Tracy. And I recommend, people should peruse those articles, because there is a risk with biosafety, even with our biosafety committee, our institutional biosafety committee. Things go wrong. They go wrong in any industry, but it's concerning.
Would it be worth asking a representative from our biosafety committee to report to the planning board on the progress to date with their meetings that they've attended so far?
That's interesting. I think we should ask them and see what they come up with.
Yeah.
You know, what their sense is.
Sure, because if we as a board are relying on them to do a job, it's kind of interesting to know what they're doing for a job.
Yeah, it would help inform us, I think.
Okay, so technical assistance program and other grant opportunities. Anybody have any info on those? I hear none. Okay. Anyone have any information on interesting planning board training?
Mark, when you say technical assistance grants, from what state agency?
Cindy, what's the state agency?
So this was the TAP grants. This was from MAPC, Metropolitan Area Planning Council. But I guess in that conversation, we should ask if the Economic Development Committee has an update on their grant application, which is also called the Technical Assistant Grant, but that is from the One Stop State Development Agency. So maybe when we get the EDC update, Mark can, unless he's got something now.
Well, I could share that Massachusetts DEP has announced the availability of their technical assistance grants, which are related to oil and hazardous material releases. So I don't know that that intersects with the planning board directly currently, but it is a funding mechanism related to contamination, potentially water supply protection.
Does that include PFAS, Janet?
Of course it does. Well, yes, PFAS is an identified hazardous material in Massachusetts.
Awesome.
What, do you have a timeline or anything about that? Is that something you're bringing to the Water Resources Committee, or you want to bring it to the planning board, or both?
I was just asking for clarity, but I believe the applications are due by October. They were just released, the announcement was made last week. A municipality can apply for a tag for technical support to understand and interpret reports related to releases in their town.
Sounds like a Board of Health thing or Water Resources.
Could be Board of Health, yep.
Well, I guess the Board of Health has a representative on the Water Resources Committee, so I don't know if you want to just write something up, Janet, to let, since you're now a member of the Water Resources, right, you could maybe write up a blurb, send it to them, copy us, copy Board of Health, and then at least everybody's aware. Would that be
Okay, so I will do that. Now I understand how it works.
I'm just spitballing here, but if that's a way to make folks aware.
Who's the new BOH representative on Water Resources?
Brian Lynch was designated as the agent, even though he's no longer on the Board of Health. He is the agent for the Board of Health to attend Water Resources.
Oh, so it's the same Brian as last time. Okay. Got it. Okay. Let's see, master plan action items. Obviously, probably not any new updates. Website update. Tracy, are you keeping the website up to date? Have you even figured out how to log in?
I actually have requested formal training on the website because I've gone through some of the tutorials and have not found them useful. So I reached out to the assistant town administrator last week to put some training forward, not only for myself, but for some of my peers. So hopefully.
Well, I use Civics Plus enough to be dangerous. So if you ever have some difficulty, I might be able to help you out with it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just, Tracy, I don't want to keep bugging you with, we ought to put this up, but we do have a current applications page also, and I do think the public finds that helpful because they're a place to find what, now we've got one big application in front of us and likely another one coming. So if you can find a way to perhaps post those documents under the current applications, I think that's helpful to the public to be able to read what's going on.
Okay, agreed.
I might be able to Zoom with you and show you how to do that. It's not that hard.
Okay. Thank you.
And Tracy, once you figure that out, then the ZBA needs the same thing.
Here we go. No good deed goes unpunished.
Right.
How soon can you hire that associate planner?
Not soon enough. So, housing choice legislation update and MBTA communities regulations. Where are we with that? When are we going to begin the ugly process of complying with their regs? When are we required to? Does anybody know?
We're waiting for the final regs to come out.
Yeah, right.
Right, we all
Final
provided
regs.
comments and they were supposed to come out, I believe, July or summer anyway. So I think we're all in wait mode until the final regs come out.
They've been busy not doing their budget.
What's that?
They've been busy not doing their budget, waiting to the last minute.
I
Aha.
think they submitted the budget July 14th, didn't they, with that?
Right. Well, that's they waited to the last minute. So now maybe we'll get some action on that. Well, they're on vacation now. That's what it is. They submit their budget, then they go on vacation. So
Well, I think DCHD makes the regs, not the legislature. Legislature's already passed the law. So I think community and housing development are the ones that are working on the regulations.
they're probably on vacation too.
So we're on to committee reports. Community Preservation Committee is the first. Kathy, any updates from Community Preservation?
What's odd is that their meetings are after ours. So they meet this coming Thursday.
Okay, so you won't have updates till the our next meeting.
Right.
Okay, no problem.
If I'm lucky, yeah.
Okay. So, Rebecca, how about DRB?
We have not met.
Okay. Economic Development Committee. Mark, do we know if Rich has gotten any response out of his grant yet?
No, he hasn't, and we haven't met for 3 weeks.
Okay. Okay. Magic Representative Markowitz.
Yeah, we're off for the summer, so I got a couple of months of respite till September.
All right. Janet, what's going on with water resources?
The Water Resources Committee had scheduled a meeting for July 12th, but did not meet. So the next meeting was planned for August.
Okay. All right. Small Cell Committee, which I think might be disbanding at some point. At least that's what.
Yeah, the select board talked about disbanding it, which is fine with me. So there's nothing. Well, again, they were going to try and change the policy, but that's a select board issue. So I don't know that we need a committee anymore, but I'll stay
Okay.
as long as I'm needed.
Okie dokie. Building Committee. Anybody here from the Building Committee? No, I know nothing about them either. Sergeant Schultz. Okay. I have nothing to report from BLF. And Town Committee search update. Town Administrator search update.
We haven't had our first meeting yet, but I think we've got a date later in July. So
We've got some
we have not met.
candidates.
Sorry?
We've got some candidates.
No, we haven't even met as a committee yet. So I believe the search firm is going to, pull some candidates and get to us, but we haven't even gone over our charge as a group yet. I mean, we know what our charge is, but we haven't met.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So, well, actually, I'm afraid knowing this crowd and how we will react to the news, I'm not going to, never mind. It's not on the agenda, so I can't say anyway. So, all right, future anticipated meetings and hearings. We have open space and recreation plan for August 1. Hopefully we will get the draft up and we can maybe get some citizen participation and get us have an opportunity to read through it and see if we think there's any changes needed. And there will also be same meeting, public hearings on stormwater rules and regulations. These rules we've already formulated. What we're going to do is just give one final round of input before we take a formal vote and adopt them. And we'll have them adopted just in time to review Gutierrez's stormwater mitigation plan that they're going to be submitting, which is good. And on August 29th, 400 Beaverbrook Road site plan approval and special permit modification. So that's going to be interesting. And on that one, Tracy, I'm trying to get somebody on their team to give us all of the special permits, all of the decisions that they've got, any information that they've got on a thumb drive that you can take and we can have access to on Dropbox to review.
Sure.
The scope and breadth of that project is huge. It's hugely important. That land is just, we just got to be careful with it. So,
Yeah, I went onto the MIPA website to see if I could find the original MIPA review, and because they reference the Section 61 findings and all that. The MIPA links, they're not live links anymore. So in that data request, if you can get the tower mark, I have the EEA, I'm sure they have the ENF number, but all the tower mark MIPA documents too.
make them do the work. Just, they're coming in asking for things from us. We should be informed by them. Okay. So we've got 4 dates for upcoming meetings. August 1, August 29th, September 19th, and October 3rd. And that's it from Mark White. I think you get to go home.
Me
And the rest of
too.
us stay on.
I am home. I just get to go away.
Well, you get to have the night off. So take the night off with pay.
I also have no background on that one and would potentially have a conflict anyway.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Yeah, we'll work it out with the rest of us, and you guys get the rest of the night off. So
Bye.
Wonderful.
awesome.
See ya.
Thanks
See ya.
for playing.
August 1.
See you guys later. We'll go back.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And back to 984 and 996 Mass Avenue and 38 Sarah's Way, Granite Hill draft decision. What do we know about this decision? Are we happy with this decision? Are we ready to vote this decision?
I got a couple of minor things. So just for context, the last iteration was that we had asked Dillis and Roy to provide us the updated site plan that reflected the change in width of the driveway to actually show the 30-foot width in the proposed plans. And they have since submitted those drawings, a full set. So we need to reference Tracy in the decision, add the June 22nd onto the list of plans, and that's in a couple of different places. I looked at the width is apparently correct. It shows 30 feet in the right places. I did have a question, and I don't know how important this is, but where they're cutting the pavement, they didn't describe how they're going, whether they're going to seed that or what. It's a small sliver of land, but can we assume it's going to be seeded, or do we have to require that it be seeded? Rebecca, do you have any thoughts on that?
I would assume that they have to seed it just because they have to stabilize everything out there, Cindy. I would assume they want to do that too. Just
should we add that to the condition that references the 30-foot width?
Sure.
Just to make sure it gets done. So anyone, I'm looking for that condition. It's my own fault for writing this thing so long.
It's a great decision. It is a little lengthy, and voluminous, but yeah.
Well, it was 5 permits worth, so
Yeah, that's true.
best not to leave any questions open.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm just looking for that condition. You want me to share my screen or just?
Be honest, if you're just going to add and rake and seed,
Okay.
I'm tempted to approve this decision.
Oh, hold on. There's a couple minor other ones.
No, approve it now.
All right.
Get done with it. No, I'm just
So we're
kidding.
gonna add, the language that shall be reseeded with the appropriate seed mix or some language to that effect.
Be sure to specify grass, because it could be other kinds of seeds they use.
That's why you're all here. Okay, so that's one item, and I can't find that exactly in the document. Tracy identified she made one minor change. regarding the timing of, what was that, Tracy? That was the timing
Yeah.
of the fire cistern?
Yes, I spoke to Lieutenant Gray and he actually brought it to my attention that rather than waiting for occupancy, those cisterns need to be in when they get the building permit because there'll be all that, you know, a lot, the lumber and everything. So they wanted the fire protection in there, so.
Okay, so that's condition 5, which now reads, prior to the first building permit, the project will include the installation of the 30,000 gallon fire cistern, where it used to say prior to the first CO. Okay, so Tracy made that change. And then my other change is just when Dillis and Roy provided us the site plan with the 30-foot width, they also updated the planting plan per Rebecca's comments. What I didn't have was the reference to the planting plan and the list of documents, Tracy. So we had a landscape plan which had a sheet number of C7, and that was modified several times, but the planting plan was provided subsequently, and that's dated sheet L1. So I can give you my red line with that identifies those couple of things. So the planting plan has now been approved because I think it reflects all Rebecca's comments.
Okay, thank you.
But it would be nice and tidy to have that all in one submittal.
Yeah, so right, so we have, you know, so I basically added a document to the list of documents to reflect the planting plan also, and the right dates. But beyond that, I think we're in good shape.
I just had a few minor things. I think they're mostly just like typos, and then I just had a technical question.
Shoot,
If that's all right.
please.
Page 3, paragraph 7.
Do you have the document open, Cindy?
I do. Well, I'll share. I knew I was going to get to share. Okay. All right, page 3. Item what number?
7.
Okay.
The second sentence, Sarah's Way, should be capital W.
Boy, Janet, you're going to take over for me as being the nitpicker here. So this is good.
Good.
Page 10, paragraph 1.
Okay.
Talks about poor sight distances. Let's see, what line is that? 4th line down.
Due to poor sight distances?
Do we mean SIGHT?
Yes, I believe we do.
Yes.
Yes, good.
Page 11, compliance with section.
What paragraph?
Hmm.
Ooh, number 7, put a space, yeah.
It was under the thing called compliance with section. We get very formal at the end here. It says to the inspector of buildings. Everywhere else in the document, it's called the building inspector.
Yeah, this was, I think this was John Eichmann's language. Would you prefer the building inspector?
Well, that's what we use in 2 other paragraphs in the document. We use building inspector.
I should keep it consistent.
Yeah, I was going to do a word search, but you know, at some point you got to leave the document, right? Okay, was that was the one that you mentioned the word compliance?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Page 15. Oh, shoot. Let's see. I'm not sure what this is. Let's see. It has to do, this is one for Rebecca. It has to do with plantings. Oh, shoot. It says native plantings. Sorry, I don't know exact. It's, oh, it says 6 new. Yeah. Right, additional native plantings as noted on the landscape will be implemented. Are they native?
They did shift native plantings. Yeah, we requested that of them.
So they're doing additional Norway spruce, so that's a native plant?
I'm just going to read through this because I'm not familiar with, or I don't remember what this is. Minimize impact to the next one by
That's at the southwest where the,
That's at the street, right? So we're trying to get them to use native plantings.
not at the street. This is at the corner where they remember they had the reserve leach field and they were going to have to clear, and we were worried that it wouldn't, if they had to clear for the reserve septic
Right.
area.
Right. So I think we were just trying to promote the use of native tree material or plant material on the project, which they did overhaul their whole planting plan to kind of support that.
Well, they're adding vegetation, but are they native plantings?
We are
Yes.
requesting that.
Okay.
So native meaning they didn't come from the site, but native meaning they're indigenous.
Yeah.
You want to say indigenous plantings, or is it?
No, I get it. I wasn't sure that the ones that were added were actually native. That was my question.
I think, you know, they probably, we asked them to take a pass at it. And just because they had a lot of non-native plants. So we're just trying to be a little bit more sustainable with their plant selection. So they did go through and make a lot of changes on the planting plan. But I think that's what we're trying to promote.
But this is a condition, right? So they will have to do it, right?
This right here is not a condition, but
okay.
This is a description of the how it complies with whichever item this is. This is under 9204. This is the explanation of how the project complies with each of these criteria.
I see.
But the plan shows. Oops, what was that? The planting plan. Well, I wonder if do I have to say landscape and planting plans now, or are we good with landscape plan? Rebecca.
I'm sorry, say that again, Cindy. I'm just rereading.
Sorry, it references the landscape plans, but we also now have a planting plan. Do I have to, everywhere we say landscape, do I have to say and or planting plan?
I would say planting plan is what you should be referencing here, because landscape plans could be site walls, driveways, you know, so I think it's probably better to just reference the planting.
I have to go through this for that.
Okay. Page 22. Talking about noise policy, DAQC.
You wanted me to define that, didn't you?
Well, since it doesn't exist anymore, we want to help. We want to help people find this policy when they're online.
All right. So,
Division of Air Quality Control.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, which item is it? 30. Huh?
It's page 22.
It's the end of 21.
Maybe it's not.
Here it is. Here it is.
Oh, page. Okay, we must have changed the format.
It was Division of Air Quality Control.
Right. Which didn't. I mean, technically, it's a division of DEQE, which became DEP, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how important. So it's DACQ policy 90-001.
Right.
So if we're gonna say DEP, and we previously said MADEP, we should say MADEP.
Oh, one word, or did I have spaces in it?
However you want to do it, just whatever we do, yeah.
You can tell that Jan and I worked on a lot of technical reports.
Oh my gosh, we
Oh,
love it.
yeah.
Okay, let's see. Last one, it's not that bad. Page 21, paragraph 27. Little out of order, sorry there. I think we've repeated a phrase a number of times in the same paragraph here.
Which paragraph?
27. It says, make a payment into the town of Boxborough Sidewalk Fund, Route 111 Trail Fund in the amount of 10,000 as compensation to the Massachusetts Avenue Sidewalk Fund, Route 111 Trail Fund in lieu of construct. Right? There's the same, I'm not sure. Seems like a phrase got repeated that didn't need to be. I'm having trouble following the sentence, so.
Do you just, after compensation, do you just strike that until in lieu of?
Right.
Like that?
Is it called the Sidewalk Fund, Route 111 Trail Fund?
Let me go to section 4.7. There. Called the Route 111 Trail Fund. It's referenced as a Route 111 Trail Fund.
Okay, so we'll delete sidewalk.
Would you write payment into the sidewalk fund for the Boxborough Route 111 Trail Fund? No, that's a little bit wordy too. Or maybe just strike it.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. We do have we have a don't we have a sidewalk fund?
Well, which fund is the money gonna go into?
That's interesting. Tracy, you don't know the answer to this, do you?
Do not.
Okay. Because I think when Jim Fenton made a payment, I thought it was to the sidewalk fund, but maybe that is they may be one and the same. All right. Well, can we research that? And we agree that doesn't change the,
No, it doesn't, but it did seem a little unclear which fund the money was going into, and I think we should be really clear about it. That's all.
Is the intent to put it into the sidewalk fund? If it's different than a trail fund? I thought it was, but.
well, I'm reading the regulation. On this side, under 4.7, which is sidewalks and walking paths. The second item, number 2, the proposed Route 111 trail is a critical cultural and economic development resource. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. A Route 111 trail fund has been established for this purpose. If due to topography, location, or other unusual conditions affecting the property, on-site improvements to the Route 111 trail are infeasible, the board may require a donation to the trail fund in lieu of on-site improvements.
So they're one and the same.
I believe they are.
You could strike sidewalk fund then.
I think that should cover it. I don't know, Tracy, I don't want to ask you to check, but there has been a payment made recently, so there might be a way to check with the accounting department.
I can do that.
Okay. Anything else, Janet?
No, this is my last one, but now that we're on it, so we say the reason for this is in lieu of constructing a sidewalk. So when you don't construct a sidewalk, you give money to a trail fund as opposed to a sidewalk fund?
Well, the trail fund is for the corridor for Route 111. There is a proposed, let me see, I don't want to make up stuff here. There is,
I see. Well, sidewalk could be a trail. I mean, I get that, I guess, one and the same.
so there's two hooks for building sidewalks. Where determined as necessary, sidewalks shall be provided along the site's road frontage. Walking and footpaths are encouraged in all development. So this is a development and he's not putting in a footpath. So this is in lieu of that. Okay. But then there also is a Route 111 trail fund, and there is a proposed sidewalk plan for projects that are being built along Route 111 to contribute to that fund. So there's two reasons. One is because it's got frontage along Route 111, and two, it's because most subdivisions require a sidewalk, but in lieu of a sidewalk within the subdivision, you can make a contribution to the trail fund.
Okay, got it. All right, and that's it for me. I understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure, no, good questions. I'm still looking for the condition on the 30-foot. But I'll do that afterward.
Any other amendments? I don't hear any. Should we make a motion to approve this document with the amendments?
I think we can. Sorry, what was, oh, we were going to mention about reseeding. I think I found it here. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm in the right place. Can we just do the language for the seating?
Sure.
I think it goes under A.
Do you want to say it site-wide, Cindy, like all areas of disturbance that are not intended to be landscaped are seeded? I mean, would you make it more broad than that? If that's your concern, I guess.
Well, I think we've already approved the landscape plan. I mean, I assume there was seeding on that, and you'd have to go back and look at it, but don't they specify a seed mix or anything?
They're definitely suggesting it in their thing, but I don't think that I'd have to look at it again, but I think they just got down to perennial level.
Are you concerned that we didn't cover that or spell that out specifically?
Well, I know I shouldn't assume anything, but I would be shocked if there were if there was not seed stabilization installed on the property. But
Do you want to say unless otherwise specified? Disturbed areas shall be, raked and loamed and seeded or something to that effect?
Yeah, otherwise I can bring up the landscape plan. We can look, or I can bring up the landscape plan and the planting plan and see if it's in there.
I would just add, I would just add a note about that. I think what Mark just said was probably covering our bases. All they did was color render the grass areas. So I don't believe there's any kind of suggested seeding called out.
So where does that go? Well, not just on the 30-foot reduction?
Yeah, I think it should be site-wide if you're concerned about it, because there's a significant amount of open lawn area being suggested in their plan.
Just looking if we have the word seeding. No. No. Again, I don't want to change something that I know if you're saying it's implied, but give me some verbiage that you think we could live with here.
Mark, repeat what you just said.
Oh, unless otherwise specified on the plan or in the decision, all disturbed areas shall be raked and seeded, whatever landscape.
Raked, loamed, and seeded.
Yeah.
Unless otherwise specified in the plans, in the
Or written decision.
Yeah.
all areas. Give me that language again.
Of disturbance.
Disturbed areas. Shall be raked, loamed, and seeded as needed, as necessary.
I would leave it as loamed and seeded, period. If necessary is wiggle room.
All right.
Is that the right language here?
Yeah.
Okay, save that. Okay, so then we're covered on the third, on the road cut reduction.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think they'd have to do it just to stabilize everything out there. So it's probably covered, but why not?
Okay. Do we have a motion to,
I just noticed one more thing, which is the title of the document is, the second sentence is Mr. Lawrence White, and then the footer on every page references as Mr. Larry White. The header, sorry, on each page says Mr. Larry White.
Yeah, we probably should be consistent.
L-A-U-R-E-N-C-E? Okay. Should carry through. Yeah. Okay.
Or we could put Lawrence and then parentheses Larry and then catch it that way.
I don't think we have any more reference to him. Yes, we do. It's called, oh, here we have it. Mr. AKA Mr. Larry White. Oh, no. Oh, boy, you guys.
Janet's got a great attention to detail on
Oh,
this.
I see it now. It's in the first paragraph, so never mind.
Yeah, but that just says, well, yeah, we do call him. All right.
Although
I'm
it is a
really
little
glad-
weird because it says 38 Sarah's Way, aka Mr. Larry White, which isn't really true. Sarah's Way is not also known as Mr. Larry White. The applicant is also known as Mr.
On the
Larry White.
application of 984 Massa, AKA property of Mr. Larry White.
Well, it would be applicant, aka Mr. Larry White.
Well, decision on the application of. How about we just say,
Well, I could say decision of the planning board on the application of
oh, we
blah,
actually
blah,
already,
blah, by Mr. Larry White, applicant.
hold on, you got me all befuddled here.
Just for fun.
We already had this. Give me that language again, Janet.
Well, I was just changing in the first, parentheses, AKA to by Mr. Larry White, parentheses, applicant. Right? I mean, that's what's going on.
Like that?
But don't you need to reference him as Lawrence
Yeah,
here?
yes.
By Mr. Lawrence White, AKA Mr. Larry White.
Can I say parenthetically, Larry? Okay. Jeez. How's that?
Thank you.
Does that do it? Anyone else?
We all done? Make a motion.
Great work, by the way. It's a lot of work.
I am going to go through this one more time to make sure that this reference to planning plan is correct throughout. So this will be final, but I'm just going to make sure that this references, could we reference the list a couple of places? Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Do we have a motion to approve? Whoops. Motion to approve the site plan and special permit decision for Mr. Lawrence White.
And a motion to approve the chair to sign for the board.
Oh, and to authorize the chair to sign the decision on behalf of the board.
I think you should.
Did you just move that, Rebecca?
Yep.
Can I second it?
Yep.
Okay, second. Yeah.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, Cindy Markowitz,
Markowitz, aye.
Rebecca Werner,
Werner, I.
Janet Conley,
Connolly, aye.
and Mark Barbadoro, aye. Well done. I really, really appreciate all of your attention to detail and hard work on that decision. It's been a long time coming.
Tracy, I'll send you my red line with those edits that we made tonight. I'll get that to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank
And
you.
just check the date, and then I guess Mark will come in and sign it, and then you'll get it stamped.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. That's it. There's no reason to meet anymore. So anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
There's second.
Second. Okay.
Right. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, Janet Conley.
Connolly, aye.
All right, Rebecca Werner,
Werner, I.
Cindy Markowitz,
Markowitz, aye.
and Mark Barbadoro, aye. Thank you so much for all the hard work.